Welcome all to the Unfinished Basement podcast. Once again, you are here today on our 7th episode, so thanks for tuning in. Even if it just means that you're going to click and leave, it still helps. And if that's what you do, then, well, I mean, I said thank you, but you can fuck yourself. I'm here joined with my two co-hosts as per usual. Peter unfortunately had to leave for work today, but take it away, my friends.
It's a little sad seeing his spot empty with that brand spanking new Behringer XM8500 microphone just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Recurring listeners of this podcast, well, obviously, I'm Julian. And
I'm still Joe.
he's still Joe, so we're still here.
Not much has changed.
Yeah. Actually, lots has changed.
Right. Yes.
As I was about to say, is recurring listeners of this podcast will be able to differentiate the tone of our voice right now, or at least the clarity and smoothness, because we're rocking a new setup. We've got a Behringer UMC404
Yeah, 404
USB
HD.
audio interface. So we've got that. We got a new logo.
Mhm.
Our website is looking a lot better. Yeah, I feel like we're just making movements, you know.
That's all. Steady progress.
Today
And
we spent a good time like building these contraptions to put our mic stands to clip them onto. So we were sawing. I was thinking about taking out the big boy saw and then making that bitch go yeah. But
yeah, we didn't need it though,
we
fortunately.
didn't need it, no.
Yeah, it was hard work though. I mean,
Yeah.
just so you guys just so you guys can get an idea as to what we did. We have a table, and the clamp mechanism on our mic stands isn't fat enough to clamp onto the table. So basically what we were sawing were pieces of wood so that we can then ultimately screw them onto the bottom of the table with a little bit of the piece of wood protruding so that our clamp can stand and we can run these sexy mics. I'm absolutely positive you guys will already be able to hear the difference in these short 2 minutes that we've been live for. It's awesome.
Yeah, production
Yeah.
value definitely went up quite a bit. and
Oh,
it-
yeah.
it should show you guys how much we genuinely care.
Yeah.
We weren't just uploading episodes just to upload episodes. We were doing our best to make sure the sound quality was there, and even when it wasn't, we were still trying to tamper with it and do the best that we could with what we had. Now we have a full-blown setup going between the microphones and the mixers and all that stuff to just solidify how sure we're going to be that our sound is going to be 150%. So,
Yeah, like we're doing it for fun, obviously, and it's for fun. But ultimately, we do it because we hope that you guys enjoy. And it's well, to be honest with you, it's not as enjoyable when the sound isn't too good. And we've had
Yeah,
issues in the past few
stressful.
weeks. We've had plenty of issues in the last few weeks with echoing and popping or even just ambient noise.
Our voices specifically sounded like tinny.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Joe's was good, obviously, because he had the snowball. But the problem with that is that it was picking up.
yeah, it was picking
So
up a lot
much
of
ambient
background,
noise.
and the whole cutting issue was horrible,
Yeah.
making a lot of the podcast inaudible.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it. And
So-
even our voices, like we had to adjust the volume of some of us. So at different points in the podcast, our volume or the volume that you would hear us at was higher or lower than it
Mhm.
should have been. But overall, that's fixed,
Yeah.
and we definitely hope that it creates a better environment for you guys and makes it more listenable, I guess is obviously the end goal.
Yeah, and the
Right.
bottom line is that for all of us here in the Unfinished Basement podcast is that we have goals, and we're taking steps to fulfill those goals.
Yep,
and
Most definitely.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's us talking shop.
Yeah, well,
Should we move on?
yeah, but one last thing.
into
Take a
the
look at
thing?
our Instagram, and you will see
yeah.
at the Unfinished Basement podcast, and you'll see get a general idea, I guess, as to what our setup looks like. I just peered over there and saw that empty mic stand, and that's pretty
It's a little
sad.
sad, man. He
Yeah.
was here with us, hacking away at the wood,
Yeah,
screwing in. That was a process, man. I
yeah.
enjoyed it though.
yeah.
I
But
enjoyed it.
anyway, on to how we'll start off this week for you guys. The same way we did last week. We said that we'd incorporate an AskReddit portion of each and every episode moving forward. So to begin today, we're going to do the exact same thing, and we have a few questions lined out that we had pre-selected. We didn't really ask one another the questions, just so that we have honest answers and they're told for the first time, even amongst us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
genuine reactions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. If someone wants to
I
take
I
over.
really like this though. It just like helps to get the ball rolling. Like,
Yeah, I like it a lot as well.
Yeah.
You guys okay if I start?
yeah,
Yeah,
go,
go for it.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with this one here. It's if real life had a DLC, what would be some examples? And before we start, for those of you who aren't into the whole video game scene and all that, DLC stands for downloadable content.
Mm-hmm.
The extra content you can add on to the game, but you have to pay a price. To sometimes they're $15.99 or whatever it might be. So, go ahead, boys.
If you were an amputee, getting a prosthetic arm would definitely be a DLC,
Yeah,
especially because you had to pay for
yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and that would like improve your quality of life. So, well, not all DLC improves your experience with the game, but
for
that's
sure.
the idea behind it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that a DLC may be if you like water or water sports, a DLC would be a boat, or
Ooh.
like some sort of boat
Yeah.
package, because then you can spend time on the water and get water skis also as
That
extra
would,
stuff that can be downloaded in the DLC or purchased in the
Yeah.
DLC.
That would be
Mhm.
the whole Seaman
Yeah, that's
expansion
right.
pack.
The Seaman expansion pack, which would cost a hell of a lot more than $15,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, if life were a video game, yeah, I wouldn't be better. Never mind. I take back what I was gonna say. But it'd be easier. I mean, I've never found a video game that truly defeated me. I don't think.
You haven't played Dark Souls.
That was my
Or
first
Bloodborne.
thought. I have not played.
Man, there's
Dark
this new
Souls.
game. I've sent you
I'm
guys this clip.
so excited for that to
Sekiro?
come out.
Yeah.
Oh, marigato. I'm so excited.
They're
It
saying
does
it's
look
going to
really
be
cool.
just as hard, if not harder, than Dark
yeah,
Souls.
I'm down for it.
I am too.
I'm ready.
But you're into story games like crazy.
Yeah,
Me,
but
I'm
like-
I'm kind of touchy with them.
Yeah,
but
but
I
the
feel
Souls
like this
games,
one-
the Souls games don't really have like a coherent story. It's like it comes from you picking up like these cryptic messages throughout the world, and like I don't really
Huh.
enjoy that. It's more for the gameplay. But yeah, Joe, what's your answer? What's your DLC for life?
me, it's more as opposed to like you guys went for like something materialistic,
Yeah.
right? Mine is more maybe you can tack on an extra 10 years of your life. So let's say someone's supposed to pass at 70 as opposed to 70.
Mm-hmm.
Buy this DLC, now you're gonna pass at
Ah.
80.
that's
So
cool.
that's kind of
right?
like the mobile game route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the
feel that.
that's called the Modern Medicine expansion for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly
Like
what it would be.
Civ 5. or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
exactly. Man, funny shit happens in those Civ games. Like, if you don't, I guess, invest properly or put development into places, like you can be in year 2010 and not even have like proper agriculture and farming and shit like that.
Jesus.
Like, you can create some really funny worlds in that game. I've never actually even played. Well, I've played like an old game, but I never really got into them. So I've just seen that on the subreddit for Civ. They've got
Mhm.
cool stuff that you can even like stream. I think that's the benefit of streaming, is just that you don't have to
Yeah.
You
exactly
can
play
games.
them. Yeah, but
Like-
you can watch good people.
Yeah, you can
Mhm.
follow
play them.
along too, and it's
Yeah.
entertaining at the same time. Streamers don't get enough credit, I don't think, because a lot of people
Yeah, it's
look
so
at it
new,
more
though.
as like a hobby. But like these people, like they put in a lot of hours and a lot of like hard work to like entertain this audience. Like it's not only someone's interest in the game, like that plays a part in it, but
Mm-hmm.
the entertainer is the other 50%.
Yeah, we were talking the other day actually about like the Doc, for example,
Yeah.
Dr. Disrespect. Like he's a top end streamer. He's one of the best. So it's not exactly the most fair example, but on his show we were talking about the transitions and the visuals that he has included. Basically, like he'll be for the sake of Apex Legends, he'll be jumping in off his plane and then he'll stand up and like basically, or his character rather, his face, his real life face will be attached to a parachute or something. Like there's lots of cool little funny animations that add to his whole experience. And that all gets thrown into streaming, and it takes work and it's very difficult. I saw a video one time. Have you guys ever seen those things that streamers have on their arms, where basically
No.
it's like a little box and it has like say 6 buttons, and every single button.
Oh
will-
yeah, yeah,
will-
yeah. There's
it'll-
the
Like the Power
they're
Glove?
the Elgato Stream Decks.
Stream Decks. That's exactly
That's
what they're
what they
called.
are.
So I saw somebody with a Stream Deck, except he was wearing like 3 or 4. So he
What?
had like 16 different animations that he could click at any time. They're all lined up his entire arm. These boxes.
That's nutty.
They're
How
They're really
expensive
cool.
are
Like
those
they have,
things?
I'm pretty sure they're like $100 or so. But like they
Damn.
had these little the little squares. Each of them like light up individually. So if you were to label them, like you can full on have like I don't know. One is like a transition effect. One is I don't know, other effects. But like they're all labeled. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
I have a client coming at 7:30, bitch.
Sorry.
Unfinished basement.
Yeah, that's my shit brain sister.
It looks like we are going to have our first ever audience
Yeah.
today.
We're gonna
Like, are
have. My sister's got a gluing appointment, and for those who don't know, females like to do this thing where they glue fake eyelashes onto their eyelids, and pay exorbitant prices for these said fake eyelashes. And in the unfinished basement, unfortunately, this isn't the only business here.
It's
No.
a shared studio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's a shared workspace.
But we have our blankets to
But, yeah,
protect us.
we've got
I
the blankets.
suppose.
And
And,
worst comes to worst, we could always just pause halfway through and we can do our first ever pause and then hop back into it.
Yeah,
recording.
we could do that.
We could.
We could edit it. You
yeah,
know?
it'd be easy to edit.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
see how it goes. You know.
Yeah, we'll
We've got
see
an
how we're
appointment
feeling.
At 7:30.
We're-
See how awkward it is, or whatever. Maybe we can go for a walk or something. Who knows?
No, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry that you guys had to hear that, but that's you know what? We've said it before and we'll say it again. The unfinished basement is absolutely a constant work in progress. And here is an example of one of our barriers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shame in it.
Fuck it, man. Whatever.
Yeah.
Alright,
I got a
so-
question for you guys. Since we're talking about games, well, DLC and whatnot, what is the one game that you have the most nostalgia for?
Ooh, easy. Gold and Silver, Pokemon.
Pokemon?
Hands
That's
down.
a good one.
Every time I
Yeah.
play it, I just I
It's
remember
the music,
the
man.
exact same thing. It is the music. It's
It has to be the
110% the
music.
music. And then they remade those games onto
Yeah.
the DS.
I've been
with
playing Soul Silver for like
Yeah,
the past week.
Soul Silver and
Oh,
Heart
wow.
Gold, right?
Yeah.
So once they remade that, it just brought even
Mhm.
more back
And the
to it.
coolest thing
now-
about that game is that there's this key item. It's called the GB sounds, and it
Oh,
switches.
yeah.
It switches the. It's not like exactly the original songs,
Mhm.
but it's like a remixed version.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really sick,
Yeah.
and it's cool how they have that option. Like those are the best Pokemon games by far.
I think so
by
too.
Far.
I think so. Like they were a little. They weren't. Okay, they're 10 times harder than the games are now. Like I feel like
oh,
now
yeah,
the games are,
100%.
although their audience, believe it or not, Pokemon's audience is, I think, more so older
No, they are.
now than they
Yeah.
are the youth audience.
It's more
It
people
doesn't
our age.
appeal to them, man.
It
No.
doesn't.
Like,
But
why
they still
would-
make the games easier.
Why would these kids play Pokemon and buy a whole separate other piece of hardware
when they can
when
just
they
throw
can
it
just
up on their
yeah,
tablets?
just play on their phone?
Yeah, there's no multiplayer, and that's definitely a big thing for a game like Pokemon, like
Yeah.
or for the new generation that is of gaming. It's
Mm-hmm.
basically all multiplayer. You see, like especially when Fortnite, we spoke about it on the podcast before,
Yeah,
but when it took
Fortnite is-
over,
It's easy too because it's a free game.
mm-hmm.
So it caters to literally everyone, no matter what your living standard is. If you have a console, a phone, or a tablet,
Mm-hmm.
you can play the game.
Yeah, true. I didn't even think about that. It's
Right?
available on anything.
Yeah, it's available on pretty much everything, and it's cross compatible.
Yeah. you
So if
play with all
someone
your
if
friends.
someone doesn't have a console like an Xbox or a PlayStation or a computer for that matter, they can play on the house's iPad
Yeah.
or whatever, and
What's-
still play with their friends on those consoles.
What's
Yeah.
really nutty to me is that Fortnite and PUBG are available on iPhone and Android.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Those games, those are like 10 years ago, or not even 10 years ago, like 5 years ago. Like imagine playing a game as powerful or as
Demanding.
strenuous and demanding as Fortnite and PUBG.
Like
on your
imagine
phone.
playing that on your GameCube, or sorry, yeah, well GameCube
Or your Game Boy.
I meant that's what I
Yeah.
meant. Yeah, your Game Boy.
Yeah.
Or and even still, yeah, like even a PS2 and stuff, it'd be impossible. They wouldn't be able to run. Sorry about some weird noises you guys make
I
here.
didn't
I'm
hear
just
any
getting
of that.
used to. Oh,
Are
perfect.
you moving right there? I didn't hear
Yeah, I
that.
moved the mic. Just getting used to the new stand.
Yeah.
But
Yulu?
yeah, for me it's like there are a few games that I can think of when I was young. There are obviously like Nintendo games you would play with cousins and friends and
Yep.
stuff, right? But I think for me I've got two or 3. I'll throw in Red Dead Redemption as an honorable mention. Number 1, Red Dead 1 that is. And the 2 that I have the most nostalgia for are probably Destroy All Humans, because I remember
wow.
playing with my dad all the time. And
okay.
And Left 4 Dead with your dad?
yeah, my dad. Yeah, that's
He
true.
loved that game.
He still, dude, to this very day, he still plays Left 4 Dead 2 on his Xbox One.
Damn.
He'll send me photos sometimes of like him at the top of the leaderboards, like with like however many kills or whatever,
Yeah.
something he was proud of. And then he'll tell me about how like there used to be this glitch, and still is this glitch apparently, where in one of the maps, No Mercy, I think it was called, the hospital level, at one point you're going to an elevator, and the old glitch would be if you had a Molotov and you're in this elevator with one of your teammates, you could throw it at them and they'll glitch through the elevator. So what happened was that someone was talking shit to him one day, like maybe a month ago, and he said that he was like, yeah, all right, man, all right, and just whipped out a Molotov and threw him through the
Man.
elevator. But
That's hilarious.
yeah, Destroy All Humans and Grand Theft Auto 4, specifically because I met a good friend of mine now who lives in Winnipeg, and dude, when I first got GTA 4, I was in the 7th or 8th grade, I think, and
Was it that long ago?
it
Came
came
out even before that.
Yeah, it came out
when
in
we were,
07.
Like 12. Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah. And
That's 10 years ago.
Oh,
12
it's
years
it's
ago.
older than that.
Yeah, we were
if
10 years
12.
old.
You want to know
Oh,
something
we were
fucked?
10?
We were 10 years old, yeah.
That's crazy.
Green Day's album Dookie
Yeah.
is 25 years old.
Dude, it's crazy, man.
That's
Like it's so
fucked.
old.
Yeah.
That's a good album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was listening to it this morning.
That's
but,
excuse me. That's a really good one. But
yeah.
yeah, GTA 4 for sure, and then even the Ballad of Gay Tony expansion, because that game didn't leave my Xbox 360 for, it was probably a year straight, except maybe for like four or 5 times just to play NHL at the time. And
Did you like Lost in the Damned?
No,
You didn't like it?
I played it, I beat it, but
Mhm.
compared to the Ballad of Gay Tony, the Ballad
Gay Tony blew it out of the water.
yeah, the story was good. It added so many more guns. The story was longer. The vibe was even better. Lost and Damned had that gritty, grainy look, intentionally
you could
added.
Shut that off.
No,
Yeah.
honestly,
I
man,
shut it off.
if I knew that, I would have played it more for sure,
Mhm.
because I really did not like that.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of took away from
Yeah,
the
a lot of
experience
games
for
do
me.
that. Do you notice that?
What?
A lot of games add that grain filter
I never
over
noticed.
it. Yeah. I think Grand Theft Auto 5 even had it on like very slightly.
Really?
Yeah.
I never noticed that. That could have been just on console, maybe to dumb down
Yeah.
the
The motion
render
blur and
process.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
motion blur for sure. Yeah.
How about you, Juice?
For me, it's got to be Sonic Adventure 2. 100% for so many reasons. Like,
Is that the
I
one on the
remember-
GameCube?
yeah, it was originally released on the Dreamcast, but they
Okay.
remade it on the GameCube as Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just have a lot of good memories playing it with my cousin,
Mhm.
and a lot of good memories playing it with. My parents have these friends who had 2 boys. I don't know if you remember them, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
The Dominicans.
Yeah, yeah.
You remember them? Yeah. And we used to play that game all the time. And like it's just a good throwback, and like I still play it like once a year, I think. And the music, again, like music for me in games is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
It does, because it really helps capture the audience. Like, a game can be so linear, but have like a good soundtrack and still be good.
Mhm.
Like certain FIFAs, for
Oh, yeah.
example. It's
oh my
the
God,
same.
FIFA's a huge
It's the
example.
same thing every single year with FIFA, except with different track lists and maybe like different headers.
Yeah.
Or
Like,
timed finishing.
Yeah, like they
Ooh.
add in
You
like one little
fucking
extra
do.
thing or one little extra bug fix that everyone was asking for throughout the whole year, so they decided to make a whole new game for it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Man, that's one thing that blows my mind, is how a game like League of Legends, for example, is the same game since when it was released, say 12 years ago, whatever. But it looks completely different, and it's completely adapted and evolved. But it's still free updates. I think that considering the amount of money that EA makes off of FIFA Ultimate Team, they should just make it
it's
one
some crazy
standardized
statistic,
game.
like 60% of their total revenue.
Yeah, see, like
From
they should
Ultimate
just
Team
they should
alone.
just make it one standard game then that's released once, say right now, for
Mhm.
example, and every year if they need, or whenever they need to do updates, update it, man. And they can
Yeah.
do graphical updates. Like Counter-Strike has had overhauls of their of the way that the game has looked. League of Legends has had an overhaul for the way it's looked. God knows how many times.
Even for characters, they do that
And
consistently.
mechanics.
Yeah.
You know, so you can't
Yeah,
tell me that
FIFA
can't
should
be
a
adjusted.
free-to-play game.
Yeah, man.
And
Especially
they make more money that way, I think.
I think so, man. So, dude, everyone would be playing FIFA.
Yeah.
Even people who don't like soccer. Like, think about
Mhm.
when I started playing FIFA, the first ever FIFA game I had was FIFA 06 or 05, one of the two. It was on my GameCube. And I didn't even really watch soccer. You know, it must have been FIFA 05 because it was before the World Cup version came out.
Yeah, they that World Cup was in 06.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So FIFA 05, and I never even really watched or paid attention to soccer back then. And I still played it. My dad, who really knows nothing about soccer, still played it with me, you know? We'd have fun with it. So what the hell, man? Everyone would play this game. It's a quality game, really.
Yeah.
Like,
they
it's
make
made
they make
well.
a killing off of microtransactions, anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like you said. You said it's
Yeah.
60% of their
I'm-
revenue
I'm
is
not
that Ultimate Team
100%
anyway.
certain. But
Well, regardless,
Mhm.
I know they make a very good sum because it's enough to host these tournaments that they've been hosting now once a month, where the grand prize is close to $100,000.
Wow.
So
And see, man, like, think about it. I annually, I put more money into the game on microtransactions than I do the game itself.
oh yeah, everybody does.
So, right. So
Everybody
imagine
does.
imagine that if that was available to even more people. Then.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like, even as long as you spend $100 in microtransactions throughout the entire year of having the game, you've pretty much doubled what the game should have been worth.
Which is easy to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to get lost up and buy that many
Mhm.
coins and stuff or whatever. Not coins, but
Packs and
packs,
whatnot.
yeah.
But like games are just getting more and more expensive now too.
hmm
So it's I don't know. It's kind of absurd. Like games are. You remember when games used to be like $40?
$40, man.
40,
I remember
then
buying
50,
Serious Sam
then
number
60.
2
They're
for
$100 now.
$40. Yeah.
After taxes and everything, games will come out to like about $100,
Yeah.
if not more than that. If you're buying deluxe this
And there's a deluxe for everything.
and
now.
collector's edition this and that.
Man, like I remember when games were $59.99 here.
Yeah.
A lot of people like on the internet would talk about how like you think we have it bad here. Like, oh, over in Australia, their games cost like $120,
Yeah.
which is fucked because we're at that point already.
Yeah, we are.
You know,
But it's gotten worse for
and
them
it's
though.
so fast.
It's
It
gotten
has
worse.
it.
Oh yeah, it's gotten worse for them. With everything. Like
You're good.
I watch this YouTuber. You guys, I think you guys, Max Mofo,
I've heard of that before, but
Filthy
I don't,
Frank's crew of guys.
Okay, that's probably why I've heard
The
then.
Australian dude with the long hair.
Mhm.
Anyways, he does like openings of stuff on his channel, whether it's like Rainbow Six memorabilia
Mm.
or it's Pokemon cards and all that garbage. And sometimes he leaves the prices on them, and they're absurd.
Yeah.
Like, I think so. Here in Canada, I believe it's for an entire box filled with cards of Pokemon cards
Mhm.
filled with packs. It's about $119.99. So about
Right.
$120 bucks.
boxes.
Yeah, for the entire box that comes with like 36 packs or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. His was tagged from Australia at like $220.
Wow.
That's actually insane.
I wonder what the
man.
conversion is.
And
That's-
220
yeah, I don't know.
US dollars,
220 Australian dollars.
Australian dollars.
So I'm
so
not
it's
sure what the
probably even-
conversion is, but I'm
Fuck.
assuming it's not good because he's said in a few of his videos too that stuff is very expensive there, and it's just easier for him to just order stuff online from other places because they sell them for cheaper, whether it's from the States or from here in Canada.
And they're basically worth the same thing. 1.06 Australia, $1.06 in Australian dollars is worth $1 Canadian dollar. So their dollar
So
is
the dollar is
6
worth
cents
more.
weaker. No, 6
Oh,
cents
weaker, excuse me. Okay.
Yeah, it's just the opposite. Oh no, $1 Canadian dollar, yeah, equals 1.06 Australian dollars. So the Australian dollar is 6
It's
cents
6 cents.
weaker than
Yeah.
the Canadian.
So listen to this. So EA makes $800 million from FIFA's transactions,
That's
In a year?
absurd.
but add on another 200 million from their microtransactions across all games to total up 1 billion, and that's 1/5 of their $500 million revenue.
$5 billion.
$5 billion revenue.
Got it.
Sorry,
That's
Wow.
1/5 of their revenue comes from microtransactions.
This is a
So, like, they're not
multi-billion-dollar
stopping,
company
man.
who just
They won't.
They're not going
they're
to stop.
they're just money
ever.
bags, is what they are, because they pump out the same games.
Yeah.
Realistically, the same games every single year. Like Apex is not them. That's Respawn with what, co-development from EA, or is it just
publishing?
EA's? There you
No,
go.
they're
So
just
just
publishing.
publishing.
Yeah, they basically gave them a platform to.
Yeah. So
They put it on
they've done
Origin.
nothing.
That was it.
They've done nothing. So
Yeah, I'd like to know how much, like, what cut they take out of it.
Oh
Yeah.
no, dude, their name is on the game. They,
yeah, it's
they
on,
get
on
a
the
good
load up.
cut.
It's
No,
on
I
the
know
it's on the
that.
load up screen right after
Yeah.
Respawn.
Absolutely get a good cut.
And,
Absolutely.
Are there microtrans? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there are
EA game,
microtransactions.
Apparently they're adding a
saying.
battle pass.
Yeah.
A battle pass,
So-
mandatory.
No.
No.
But like Rocket League added one now too. PUBG added one. Like
Yeah, they all
Fortnite
have
fucked
it.
everything up,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it did.
But
Because them too, they realized that their game was gonna crash and burn eventually,
yeah,
so they just tried to rake in as much as
Oh
they
my
could
God.
while they could.
they milked it.
Yeah,
dude.
Oh, big
so-
time.
Like these, especially with these battle royale games, like Apex is now the third really popular
Yeah.
battle royale game.
Yeah.
So like it's inevitable that there's going to be another one,
Arguably
unless
the
this
fourth,
genre, arguably the fourth.
just
was
because of
the-
H1Z1.
Oh, that was a
kind of
battle
kicking it
royale
off.
game. I didn't know.
They
that.
kicked it off.
They're free to
I
play.
thought it
now.
was. I thought it
They're
was
free
a
to play
DayZ
now.
Yeah.
mod.
No. H1Z1 was a game where they had both battle royale and like a zombie kind of
Right.
DayZ-ish type thing, where it was basically survival
Mhm.
and you run around and loot shit and stuff and find things so you can
Yeah.
survive with. But
Okay, but
they
like
then released.
it seems inevitable that there's going to be another battle royale game.
Oh yeah, eventually.
But like, do you
I'm
think this
sure-
genre is just going to die? Like,
Yeah,
I think
like
so
it
too.
has to at some point, right?
I think so too. It
like,
has to.
The first-person shooters, like, obviously now, like, I guess you can call Apex a first-person shooter, but
yeah, it
like
is.
the team-based, like 6v6 Call of Duty style FPS is like Battlefield and shit like that. Like, those are pretty much dead in the water now.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Some are still up there. So, like
Like,
Call
yeah.
of Duty, you don't hear much about anymore.
No.
Battlefield, you hear even less about.
Battlefield, you're nothing of. They
I
killed
know.
it.
I know. Rainbow Six is still played a lot and
It's- yeah.
competitively.
Big time competition like
Yeah.
on Steam as well. They have a lot of players still on Rainbow Six right now.
The thing
Siege.
is now Apex took even a lot of streamers off of Rainbow Six and onto
Yes.
Apex. For example, Shroud,
yeah,
who's now being the #1 viewed on Twitch right now. He's averaging like 60,000 viewers concurrently.
good for him.
Yeah,
I like Shroud.
he's good at the game, so I don't see
Yeah.
why not.
Is he
But
from Brompton,
Mississauga.
Mississauga?
Yeah,
But yeah, he does really well for himself, and he played a lot of Rainbow Six. So
yeah. He played CS. He played like all those.
yeah, he played everything. But I know I've seen him play like a lot of Rainbow Six competitively, and he was like one of the best playing Rainbow Six.
He was good, eh?
He's good at every shooter he plays.
Yeah. Shroud. It says that he's born 1994. Is that accurate? Because I was listening to a stream the other day, and he said that he was 36 years old.
No, he's talking shit.
Okay, so it was just
100%
his,
he's talking shit. Yeah, I'm
extremely
pretty sure.
dry
I'm pretty sure he's
humor.
24 years old.
Yeah, that makes sense. 20. Yeah, that's right. 24, turning 25 later this year.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah. But anyway, I've got a question for you fellas.
Yeah, you still didn't even ask.
Yeah,
You've
off
been
of
holding
the
back.
AskReddit as well. Wait, we only asked two. You know.
Only
Off the-
two?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're
Shit,
two
how
in.
long? How
Off-
long are we at right now?
28 minutes.
Oh,
That's okay.
At
yeah.
the
Ask yo's and then we'll get the ball rolling.
at the AskReddit as well, just for the listeners. What do you think is the best ever single line in a song?
Ooh.
Is the question.
You say yours because I know
Okay.
you've got it marinated.
Yeah, I definitely have an answer. This could be, this could be different tomorrow. It could be different even after I make the answer, obviously. But living off of Strawberry Fields or from Strawberry Fields, living is easy with eyes closed, misunderstanding all you see. And I just like it a lot because it's like ignorance is bliss, except put more poetically, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I've always really liked that. And I don't even really care for the song all that much. I like the song, obviously, but not too, it's not one of my favorites. However, if it comes on, I'll listen to it at least up until that point, just to hear John Lennon say that.
Yeah. I mean, for me, we spoke about this lyric last episode,
Mm-hmm.
especially about Pink Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The and then one day you find
Yeah, that's the
those
one I was
years
going to
have
use
got
too.
behind you, no one there to
No
tell
one told you when to
no
run.
one told you when to
You
run.
missed
You
the
missed the starting gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that man, that's haunting.
Yeah, it is. It's scary.
Really
It's
is.
really fucking scary.
It's too real, man.
It is.
Yeah.
And you don't realize it, especially because we listened to that growing up. We
Mhm.
were in our more so in our teens when we
Yeah.
really started. Well, at least myself. I'm not sure about
me
you
too,
guys,
for sure.
but we were in our teens when we really started listening to that, and that line kind of like just flies over your head. But then as you get older, you're starting to catch on to it, and it's
Yeah.
like, holy shit, like time is moving.
Man, like for me, like the first time I heard it, like I already felt myself getting older.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah, we must have been like 15, 16. Like, I definitely heard it before then, but when I really started to appreciate the music, I was in the 10th grade probably, where I kind of got back onto my constant listening
Yeah.
to classic
Mhm.
rock, because there were some lost years, I like to refer to them as, like from grade 8 up until the 10th grade probably, where I was listening to like Stereo Love and shit like that. You know what
Actually,
I mean?
I'd like to redact my statement for greatest song
Yeah.
lyric of all time.
Oh no,
it's-
not greatest song lyric. Oh, is the best ever single line in the
Best-
song.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
How many
I-
chances
yeah.
she done gave you fucking around with these thoughts?
A lot. That's a good song, man.
I love
Fucking-
that song.
Yeah.
Man. I love you. Oh, so many.
Yeah, man. That song's got a wicked beat, but even like the original one that
Mhm.
he sampled has got a really cool bass line, drum riffs. It's really good.
Or fuck, no, I redacted again. I'd rather be broke in jail than be dead and rich. That has to be it.
I
Joe,
like my brother got life and it turned me to a beast. That's 21 Savage a lot. If you've
or-
never heard it,
Or
you should
ass
really
and
take a look.
titties. Ass and titties.
Man, you could say anything in rap now, as long as you have like a good producer,
Yeah.
a little bit of auto tune.
Yeah.
You can make it.
Mm.
Like honest to God, anybody can.
Yeah,
Because
like
if you really pay attention to some of these lyrics, like what are they? Like Gucci Gang,
I guess I just really like Gucci.
Gucci Gang, spend 10 racks on new chain. Wow, lyrical genius, right? Like it's I don't know, like there's no thinking behind
Yeah.
them. It's literally just these guys that
they
are,
make money though, man.
Yeah.
They make-
sure they make
They
money.
make bands.
Yeah.
Honestly, there was for a little while I was kind of looking, or if I heard a rap song, I would kind of pay more attention to the lyrics, and I think Future is a good example because a lot of people, they just say he's like not really saying anything. You can't even make him out a lot of the
Yeah.
time. It's what they call mumble rap,
Mhm.
I
Yep.
guess. But honestly, I read rather some of his lyrics one day, and I thought it was really interesting, man, because although they may be very simple sometimes, the lyrics, in my head I was kind of just like, oh, but the genius behind it is that a lot of the time they're just expressing or talking about things that they've experienced.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether or not like the lyrics don't have to be like these intense words or really hard to understand, but at the end of it all, I think a lot of the time they're genuinely just expressing
Yeah.
what they've seen or all
Mhm.
they know, basically, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool.
Well, like rap as it started, like what is it? Rhythm and poetry.
Yeah.
Is that the name
Yeah,
of it?
that's it. Rhythm
Yeah.
and poetry.
Like I took a poetry class, and this guy, he was in the class and fucking again with this, going around the room telling about your major and shit. Well, I hate that.
Mhm.
But anyway, it's a subject for another discourse. But this guy was saying that he enrolled in the class because he's a fan of rap music and he wanted to learn more about like poetry as a form and see how it relates to rap music. And I thought that was really interesting. So for Future to say these things, although they're simple, but sometimes like simple things are the best, especially for things that convey emotion
Yeah.
and meaning.
Yeah, like don't get me
Absolutely.
wrong. I'm not saying like all rap is like, oh, it's so easy to put together and whatever. Like
Yeah.
you look at like certain artists like J. Cole, like artists like that.
Yeah,
Like they
Kendrick.
like Kendrick Lamar especially. They actually put these lyrics together and they make sense.
Man, and
Yeah.
Tupac was a fucking genius.
Those guys
Yeah.
were like
Tupac,
philosophers.
Nas.
Yeah.
I
Like
love
they were
Nas.
they were
Different
always
level.
they were always telling a story.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
And
But like
Gangstar. Have you guys ever heard of Gangstar?
No.
Oh, he was actually sick. And Big L. Like I could go on. But I'm gonna wait for your. What is your
no,
all-time
mine was
greatest
mine
lyric?
was from
Pink Floyd as well?
yeah.
Yeah, Lou stole mine too. So
Did I really?
yeah, you did. I was gonna say
No
that, but
shit.
then yeah. Then
Wow.
I was like, fuck it.
Again, just
You know,
for
might as well.
just for the listeners, there was no
Yeah, there was
collusion
no-
there.
Yeah.
There was no prior discussion.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's,
even know that question was coming, to be honest.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
you have another one?
Another question?
Yeah. May as well bang
no,
these questions
did I
out
ask
before
it?
we're
Did I ask
interrupted.
mine? Oh yeah. Oh,
True.
yeah. If Jesus was unavailable, who would you scream to take the wheel?
Oh my God.
Fuck. Does it have to be someone like
Could be anybody.
like mythical? Like
Could be a mythical figure. It could be a historical figure. Could be a person alive in the present day.
I would Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson.
That dude,
Because
he
he
knows how to-
protect you.
he'd protect me. He'd know how to maneuver the car.
Yeah. I'd take Michael Schumacher just for the exact same reason.
That's a smart answer.
I
Yeah.
don't know who that is.
The
F1 racer.
F1 racer
Oh.
for Ferrari.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't he
He's in a coma.
he's in a coma, right?
Skiing accident, man.
Skiing
How trippy is
accident?
that?
To
This
think
guy
that you
raced
can
F1.
drive at
Yeah.
that speed for your entire life with not a scratch.
Yeah, and literally be like one of the best ever.
And to have a skiing accident and then
Man,
something
skiing
like that.
fucks people up,
It's scary, man. Well, anything can, man. A simple
Yeah.
fall can do so
Yeah.
much.
It
Yeah,
alter
I
your
think he
brain
hit his-
chemistry for
Yeah.
good, man.
I think he hit his head on a tree.
Mhm.
Man,
That's what did it.
Alex Jones said on his latest episode on the Joe Rogan podcast, he said
Mhm.
like Joe was asking him how him getting pile drived affected like his mood and general behavior, and he's like, just in the most blunt way, he's just like, made everything better.
Yeah.
It was so fucking
Honestly,
funny.
dude, it was difficult to listen to that part of the podcast because I felt like he didn't understand the question. Joe Rogan had to ask him the same question about 8
yeah,
times.
like 8 times.
And he's like, "Oh fuck, you know what, man? I can't even remember exactly how Jones responded, but he was basically just saying how after Joe would ask him, he just like explained how he'd get choked out by his buddies even more,
Just
and then
to
Joe
get
would be
the
like,
DMT
"Okay, sure,
shit.
but do you find that it changed you?" Because and he was basically saying because he's very like explosive or volatile or whatever. Alex Jones is. Do you love?
Ooh, I have one that I am subscribed to.
I'm gonna have to go through mine.
Let me read it to you right now.
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
obviously, there's the meme pages and all that, but
Well, yeah, of course, but like any like
Like,
oddly,
oddly.
look, I'll give you an example. Like one for me is power washing porn. So literally, it's people use power washers and you see them burn off a bunch of like just dirt basically off
Yeah.
anything. It's really
Does
good.
romper girls count?
Sure, man. Sure, that's specific as fuck, dude. That's a good one. I got definitely power washing porn. I'd say is on there for on my list. I had a good one that I saw the other day. I'm not really sure that I subbed, but I guess that wouldn't make it my favorite then. I guess, right? Excuse me, sorry, but Reddit's the best, dude. You can find anything so perfectly specific. It doesn't even matter. You can find absolutely anything. Like I'm subscribed to one. It's literally Personal Finance Canada. Like
Yeah. I like What Could Go Wrong
mm,
or Old People Facebook.
never seen that
That's
one.
a good
seen that one
one.
either.
That's a fucking good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like just obviously it is what it sounds like it is. It's just old people using Facebook,
Right.
and they say like dumb shit. Like, here, let me read one right now.
Yeah, please do.
So the top upvoted post right now, it is some old person posted, "How do you send a photo?" And underneath it says, Beyonce, I like the bees. Like, it's just dumb shit
What?
like that. Yeah, I love it though.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, people
Yeah.
just have no clue what's happening. It's like Nature is Metal. I like that one too.
Hmm.
I like the off my chest.
And people just venting.
They just come out and say dumb shit. It's pretty funny. I'll go through.
Yeah, give
one
us an
as
example.
well. It's actually pretty popular. It has over a million subscribers.
Oh wow. Yeah, it sounds like one of those ones that would have
Like one will be like people just coming out that they're pregnant, and like they'll tell their story and whatever,
Oh,
and it's like
shit.
because it's anonymous, right?
Yeah.
So
people can just-
they'll talk about Like my ex-girlfriend threatened to commit suicide when I left her. I didn't even respond.
That's fucked.
Like just people saying like stuff that's just
yeah. They just
so
got to.
they're
You just had to get
throwing
it
stuff
off.
off their chest. My sister won't vaccinate her kids, and we live close to a measles outbreak. I'm so scared for them.
Oh fuck.
Like just stuff like that.
Vaccinate your fucking kids, people.
Yeah.
Man, there's this one really good one I actually have for you guys. It's called r/movie details.
Oh, I love movie
Oh, yeah.
details.
Dude, you want to
Yeah.
know the coolest thing? Not the coolest, but something that was pretty cool. I was scrolling on another subreddit one day, right? And then I was reading the comments, and then somebody said there should be a subreddit for stuff like this.
Yeah.
Somebody commented r/movie details. Clicked it, didn't exist. Literally, dude, I swear to God, 5 minutes later, like I just revisit it. Somebody's like, done. Responds with r/movie detail. Sorry, they didn't say r/movie details. They said like r/something. They had a name for it. There was no subreddit for it. 5 minutes later, somebody clicks r/movie details. I was like the 100th subscriber to it. It's got 961K subscribers now.
That's nuts.
Holy-
Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
probably like a year ago now. It was so cool because I was like,
Yeah, I remember
think
you,
back
you
then, like,
told
it
me
was
about
born.
it, and I subscribed to it like that day.
yeah, it's a good one, Joe. Just for like, for reference, it'll be something like Okay, fine. Here in this one, I don't even know what it says yet. In Lethal Weapon, The Lost Boys is playing in a local theater. Richard Donner was set to direct The Lost Boys, but instead directed Lethal Weapon. So if
Yeah, a
you,
lot of
if you
them-
had paid attention, you would have seen it in the movie, or like not even paid attention. It could fly over your head.
That's
you
a
know?
cool account.
A
Yeah,
lot of them
it's
are
really
really
good.
dumb, but like,
A lot of them are, yeah.
but some of them are like really interesting. Like, I saw one about Shutter Island, and like, it had to do with how the movie is like edited in a way that like when Leonardo
I know what you're talking
Leonardo
about.
DiCaprio is smoking,
Mm-hmm.
like the smoke comes out of his cigarette like backwards or something like that. And yeah, like if you watch the movie, obviously it makes sense because he's like crazy, but
Yeah.
but still, like it's
Huh.
things like that, like little subtle details that not too many people notice and point it out, and it makes you appreciate movies more.
I never watched all of Shutter Island, but I hear it's really good. Like I know what happens. I know that in
Mhm.
the end it was just like basically one of the prefects or whatever of the asylum,
Yeah.
kind of just playing along with DiCaprio's game, who was crazy.
Yeah.
Was that basically it?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Was there any like real danger at any point at all,
Like, what do you mean danger?
like for anybody on the inside
anybody
of
on the island?
Yeah. Or was
I
it
guess
all
like
fabricated?
you could argue it is because like they're not, like they're in a crazy house, like being
Yeah.
ran by, fucking like these doctors that are pumping them full of meds that they probably don't even need. But
Like it kind of
like the Ben Kingsley, the lead doctor of the asylum
Right.
in that movie, like it's pretty sinister. Like he's a pretty sinister psychologist.
kind of like
He's pretty good in that movie, actually.
in that that really shit movie that we watched, the something to do with water. The Cure to Happiness. That's what it was called.
The Cure for Wellness.
The Cure for
Yeah.
Wellness. That was
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that movie sucked.
It's
but
like
it kinda
it's
reminded
kind of
me
like
of Shutter
Island, but
Mhm.
just way shittier.
Oh yeah. No, dude. Like the weird thing is, Joe, it was this movie, and basically they're in an asylum and stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
one of the like this person goes to visit the island and basically starts to suspect them of injecting all the patients in this asylum. Sorry, not an island. They're on a mountain. It's like this supposed to be a wellness center.
Okay.
Really beautiful, like top of the
Like the Swiss Alps and shit.
yeah. They're in the Swiss Alps, supposed to be like the perfect rehabilitation center for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But as it turns out, these people are all being pumped up with some weird type of like bacteria or something. But in the end, it turned out to be like supernatural, and like the main antagonist like tears open his skin or something, and then there's somebody else underneath. Like it was like some Scooby Doo
Yeah.
shit. It was so
I
stupid.
hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what that phenomenon is called? That's called like Deus Ex Machina. It's like Greek for God from the machine. And like Aristotle talks about this in the Poetics,
Really?
about how like people shouldn't rely on that, and it basically is like when there are unexplainable events in a plot that happen as a result of some higher being or other form, and like we don't like that when people
No.
when people are reliant on that like plot device. So I could see why you don't like it, Joe. I don't
Mhm.
like it either.
Yeah, a lot of people just say that they're kind of cheating.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
taking a
exactly.
cheap way out.
Yeah.
And there's a complaints like that for a lot of movies. I saw one like people get oddly specific like or like kind of nitpicky with that sometimes. I saw one in like one of those in like for Bruce Almighty or something, or like in some sort of like Adam Sandler or Jim Carrey comedy.
Like,
And I think it was Click actually, how in the end people were upset that he literally just woke up in a dream.
yeah, exactly.
But it's like I thought I really liked that movie Click, so I didn't have a problem at all with that, but it just made sense, you know. It seemed like it was a good way to wrap it all up, but people were just saying like, "Oh, it was just a band-aid, it ended the film." Like that
Mhm.
was but
yeah, that's a phenomenon.
right.
People or writers or screenplay writers or whatever, they just use that. Like you could take like a superhero movie for example, where like there'd be some big battle in some big city, and then a beam of light comes down and kills all the bad guys.
Right.
Something like that.
Oh, that's actually what
Yeah.
where originally I saw this. No, maybe not. I think I'm tripping. But anyway, yes. That's
Something
exactly
to that
that
effect.
adds up exactly to what you're describing. Yeah. But Joe, you had something for us, I think, right?
Yep, I've got one last question from the AskReddit section. This one is more just based on your guys', like it's more of like your opinions.
Mhm.
So, proposed Alabama law would require residents to pass drug tests to get food stamps. What are your guys' take on that?
Personally, I don't think that's necessary. I think that a lot of people who, I mean, obviously I don't have statistics or numbers in front of me, but I think that a lot of people who rely on food stamps throughout the country are likely on drugs and
Mhm.
or like it's not to say that they go hand in hand, but there's a good chance poverty. With poverty comes the higher use of drugs, right? That's a fact statistically. So I don't think that that's fair. I mean, I definitely understand the motive or why they would want to try to pass that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, okay, well, you know, if you're going to be abusing drugs, and people who are on food stamps likely are there's likely like an increased rate of joblessness in
Right.
people who are on food stamps and such. So I can understand the motivation to try to pass that, but I don't think it's right. And I think that you'd be cutting off, dare I
Yeah.
say, majority of people who are on food stamps. And there's addiction to take into account,
Mhm.
right? And so many different factors. That's I think basically like saying I think that the same people who would argue to drug test for food stamps would also argue that there shouldn't be safe injection sites. You know, I feel like that would go hand in hand,
Yeah.
and I think that I'm against that kind of drug test or
see,
drug test for that reason.
I'm with safe injection sites,
Right.
but I'm also with this law
Mm-hmm.
because if you take in the whole money factor into account, people who are being granted food stamps don't have the money, or the money isn't being shown that they can take care of themselves
Yeah.
on their own. But where's the money coming from for the drugs, right? So at least this way it kind of gives them a little bit of a motive either to get clean and save some money as opposed to doing drugs and then you're going to starve now if
Yeah.
this goes through. So I like the law just because, I don't know, it has like a anti-drug incentive more
Yeah.
than it does like a malicious incentive, in the sense that it's saying, oh yeah, we're just going to get rid of these select few people because they'll end up dying.
You know what? That's a really fair point, but I think that if it was something like pot, I don't think they should test for pot.
Yeah, pot is it's legal in a lot of places, but
But like
Alabama it's not.
But if they're
So it
testing
would
for
come up.
if they're testing for heroin, say,
Yes.
and you're a heroin addict or a crack addict, meth addict, whatever, if your food stamps are cut, I think you're more likely to continue doing your drugs and just die than even get like wean yourself off the drugs just so you can get food.
Maybe that's their point.
Yeah, I think this law is like meant to like weed out like freeloaders, like drug using freeloaders,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
or like what the government sees as freeloaders, like people who take drugs and have no will to go find a job, and so they rely on welfare. And I don't know. This is a little tricky. Like, on one hand, I do think that this would be like a good measure to just to like filter that out.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like what you were saying, Lou. How, like, I don't even know, man. I can't really form a strong opinion on this.
Right. Well, maybe this will help. I think that for food stamps, like you say, freeloading, it's to kind of weed out or cut out freeloading. I'm pretty sure that food stamps have. Well, I don't know exactly what the restrictions are, but they definitely have restrictions. So you couldn't go with your they're no longer stamps. It's like some sort of debit card, basically, that can be used to purchase food with. But it's only on approved foods. You can't go and buy like a beautiful steak with food stamps and stuff like that, right? So it's meant to assist with basically the bare necessities just to keep people alive, I think.
Right.
Like they're not giving you, they're not stocking up your fridge, you know. They're just giving people what it takes to barely survive on.
Well, that's the
So-
thing, right? They're giving people what they need to survive, really. 'Cause
Right.
if they're not eating, they're not going to survive. And
Mhm.
drugs alone, whether it's cocaine, whether it's heroin, whether it's meth, whether it's anything, right? That's not going to satisfy their hunger. It's
Yeah.
not going to prolong their life in any way. So, I don't know. I really like the idea,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like. I can see where people are coming from, saying that it's not a good idea
Yep.
because of the whole. You can't expect people to not be on drugs while receiving food stamps because, let's be honest, like you said, the stats, the majority of people who are on welfare and on food stamps, a lot of them are on drugs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just a fact. But I don't know. I like it. I think it could really help with getting rid of some of the addiction.
Yeah.
Some of the issues that they're having. People on the streets, homelessness, it could help with that too.
Mm-hmm.
Just because people would be spending their money in other places as opposed to drugs. Because a lot of people sell their lives to keep
Yeah.
up with this addiction and keep up with this habit. But if they can get rid of that, put some money away or have some money in their pocket,
Mm-hmm.
they can afford food. They can maybe afford a little bit of rent, a place to stay. You never know, because these drugs, they're not cheap.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
well-
welfare, I don't think it can cover rent.
No, welfare will not cover rent. But I'm
Yeah.
saying, if they can save the money somehow,
Yeah.
you'll be in a better living standard than on the street doing drugs.
Well, I'd just like to add that like meth, for example, is really cheap.
Yes.
You know, and that's why people do it. Or
Is it actually cheap?
meth is,
Right.
dude. What happens is that there's actually very small, brief studies. If I'm saying meth, and I could be slightly mistaken in the specific drug being meth, but there's a correlation between people getting off of opiates, so something like, say, Percocets,
Mm-hmm.
and then, okay, basically how it works is there has been statistical numbers that show for the number of people who have gotten off of opiates and the number of overdoses that has prevented, the number for heroin or meth overdoses has increased simultaneously.
Yeah.
Right.
So while the opiate overdoses drop, the overdoses on meth increase, basically 1 for 1.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's because it's cheap, is what I'm getting at,
Yeah.
and that's why they're saying like that a lot of people who have been affected by what's referred to as the opiate crisis in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people who can no longer afford it, end up basically just doing meth instead.
Yeah, they're once their prescriptions run out, or like once they can no longer afford these opiates, they go out and they buy heroin because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And Dr. Phil was saying this, that something to do with the fact that fucking I can't even think right now, man. I don't know what's wrong with me. What the hell is wrong with me? My head is like all foggy.
Yeah, I had that as well. A couple
It's
minutes
that
ago.
break.
Yeah,
It's a stupid
Yeah.
fucking break.
yeah. We tried to just because it was mentioned, we tried to bridge it over as well as we
Like,
could.
what was I saying?
Resuming the podcast, but we basically had to take a little bit of a break just because we had some people come downstairs in the basement, which you'll hear us talk about before this. But we did end up pausing it, although it's not, hopefully, not really much of a realizable gap in between our pause and continuation.
I'm
Do you
sure you'll
think that
remember
we-
Jules.
that we
I don't
should
think I
overwhelm?
can,
I'm
man.
sure you
I don't
will
know
as
what's
we
wrong
go
with
and
me
as
right
you start
now.
to get hot again.
Back into the
you'll
flow.
you'll remember. But the whole meth thing and
Yeah.
stuff, like they're having a really bad like crisis with it in California especially.
Mm-hmm.
Vice actually did a mini little documentary,
Yeah.
and this person went like behind the scenes and stuff like that to safe injection site and all that. And there was like a
Uh-huh.
little, and she spoke to one of the dealers,
Mm-hmm.
and he had regular size Ziploc bag. He said it was full an hour ago. He went to this one little area, sold the entire bag
Uh-huh.
for $100.
Oh shit.
An entire bag for like $100, and it was across the street. There was a fence, bunch of walls with graffiti and whatnot on them,
Mm-hmm.
and just people, a bunch of people setting up shop in tents, sleeping in these tents,
Right.
and they called that like the little meth area.
Right. That's
And they all went over there, and one person was saying while he was getting treatment inside one of the vehicles that are around there for the safe injection site,
Mm-hmm.
he was talking to the person and telling them that he was coming off of opioids.
Right.
So
right.
there's like it happens.
Basically this guy replaced it. Started to replace it with meth.
Exactly, because he can't afford the prescription anymore.
Yeah. That's
Okay, I remember
right,
what
man.
I was
So-
gonna say.
There you go.
What do you got
Alright.
for us?
So if you take opioids as a result, like after a surgery or something,
I know what you're about.
for like painkillers, obviously.
Yeah.
If you continue to take them for like a week or
1
like
week.
7 days, your likelihood to be addicted is like something like 1 in 10.
Your likelihood
like
after
1
1
in-
year
yeah.
of the prescription
After 1 year, it's
expiring.
like 1 in 10. And then if you do it for 2 weeks, it like doubles to like 1 in 4.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's after. Yeah.
Are
That's
they really that addictive?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
I didn't know that.
Dude, it's yeah, they're awful, and that's exactly the stat that Dr. Phil
Yeah.
was referring to.
And like oftentimes like for like middle class mothers who like get knee surgeries, like my mom for example,
Mhm.
like she got prescribed like oxys or whatever. Not oxys aren't opioids, are they?
I don't know.
Well, the Percocets. She got the Percocets, and holy fuck, that thing echoes into the
Oh,
neck.
the spring, yeah.
But she got prescribed Percocets, and like I was like warning her, I'm like, listen, like the pain is probably gonna be really bad, but like you gotta ease up with these perkies because like they're super addictive, like they're
Mhm.
so dangerous, and
So
like
nice.
yeah, that's why they're so
That's why,
dangerous
yeah.
because they are so nice.
Exactly.
That's the thing. And like as soon as those run out, like a lot of middle class mothers realize, fuck, now I can't get this high from these pills, so gotta go over to Joe Blow at the corner over there and get me some heroin.
Yeah. And then he said the line that he used was, "Now you got heroin, soccer moms."
Yeah, that was so
Yeah,
funny.
He was pretty good. That was a good episode.
Yeah, it was. It was really informative, man.
Yeah, a lot better. Man, you know what? I'm upset that it was only like an hour and 40 minutes
Mhm.
because he did really well. He got really good reception as well, really
Mhm.
positive reception from listeners. But
Do you guys know
yeah.
what it is in Percocets and stuff like that that's addictive?
the fact that it's an opiate.
The opioid itself.
Yeah. Which comes from what's the opium, right?
Opium.
But is that what
yeah,
is that?
That comes from poppies.
Right, that's it.
Yeah.
It comes from poppies.
I went to go type it in Google. Why are Percocets addictive?
Yeah.
Right? I typed in why are and then the letter P. And the first thing that comes up is why are people throwing cheese at babies? I don't know about you guys, but I love that.
That's
I absolutely love
Man.
that trend. It's hilarious.
dude. I saw one
Instead
yesterday.
of a newborn baby, like
I saw
fresh out
think,
the womb.
I think I saw that one too.
Yeah.
They were
Oh,
still
I didn't see
this
that
baby literally fresh out the womb. The nurse is holding this baby.
Oh, that's gross. Fuck that.
And the fucking guy threw a slice of cheese on his newborn baby.
Yeah. See, I think
That's
that
a little
belongs on
fucked.
casual child abuse.
That is a little fucked.
But
I saw
like
it.
at
I
least
saw
wait
a
till it's in
cat.
the high chair eating Cheerios.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know.
I saw one yesterday. It said doing the cheese hashtag cheese challenge to my grandfather, And this guy, he just shows a slab of cheese. He starts walks into his kitchen, looks up, throws the cheese at an urn.
Oh my god.
It's horrible. Absolutely. I saw a guy do it with his dog. But a dog is a whole nother story, because you can throw it anywhere and the dog's gonna eat it.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a treat for him.
Yeah. So they threw, like, this guy was lying down and he had like a bulldog of some sort. I want to say it was like an American bulldog,
Excuse me.
maybe. I don't know. Big boy.
Yeah.
He's on the couch and his owner is lying down right beside him. So the guy walks in the room and throws the slab of cheese at the owner, hits the owner, and the dog jumps up onto the owner and starts eating the cheese off.
Oh,
of him.
that's good. That's a good one.
So, I don't know. I love that little trend. I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, man, yeah, I don't know about this whole food stamp business. I think that's definitely a difficult position to be put in. The thing is that it makes sense if anywhere that it's being passed, or sorry, like it was suggested in Texas, because they're very very far right there typically. So I mean, if anywhere in the U.S., like maybe there, Florida, like a lot of those southern states, it would it is the best place for something like that to get passed through. Also, California, you mentioned the Vice did it in California. They have the highest homelessness rate in the entire U.S.
Whole country, no?
Yeah.
They
So-
got San Francisco is particularly bad.
Mm-hmm.
There are homeless people like shitting on the streets.
There's tons of that, man. It's
All
actually
the
a problem
time.
right now. There's
Yeah.
literally shit. Like, there was a poll, and I think that like 80% of people living
Well, you
there
know
have
what,
seen
man?
shit on the streets.
Like, not for anything, but like you walk around here, like sometimes I walk around downtown, and I'm holding in a huge piss, and you go look in the Tim Hortons, like around the block, and they don't have bathrooms. Like, bathrooms for the public in big cities, like oftentimes there's a paywall behind it,
Yeah, there are.
or there isn't one at all for customers.
I've
or
never
for
seen
anybody.
that. No
You've never
washrooms at
seen
all.
that. You've never seen
I
that.
thought that was illegal, to be honest, especially in a restaurant. I thought that it was illegal.
Man, I don't know. Maybe just because I didn't ask, but like I didn't see a washroom, like especially in these tiny ones. Like, there's like
Like the holes in
boutique
the
Tim
wall.
Hortons.
Yeah,
Oh, they
kind
might
of.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, like they have no bathrooms.
Right.
So like at that point, I'm forced to piss in an alley.
yeah.
You know?
And there's nothing wrong with
Like,
pissing in an alley,
yeah,
man. Fuck
no,
it. This
it's
honestly,
better than pissing in a urinal.
it's so much better, man. I love getting hammered and taking pisses in city alleys. That's
The
one of my
funniest is
favorite
when,
things
like,
to
you're
do.
looking around, you think there's no one looking at you,
Yeah.
but then you make eye contact with one person,
Yeah.
and at that point, like, there's no stopping the train,
No.
and it's just, but then it goes on for like what feels like 10 minutes.
But dude, that's the best. Like when you're so hammered, like you feel like your legs kind of like wavy, and then you're doing exactly that. You turn back, but like almost really slowly, and you think in your head that you're concerned, but when you end up like getting caught or like being seen by somebody, you really don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, not at all. I remember. Never
Like,
mind. We'll pass
What's
up on
worse,
that.
watching someone piss or shoot up heroin into their arm?
Oh, 100% seeing someone
Exactly.
shoot
Yeah,
heroin.
probably
into
shoot
their-
up.
Nothing wrong with pissing. Everyone's got to piss.
Everybody, there's nothing wrong with that at all, man.
I
It should
remember-
like basically be legal.
I remember my girlfriend and I were driving up north, and she had to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to go and stop at a gas station. It was a little bit closer to like Blue Mountain area. So I pull into this gas station. This gas station, it's an Esso. I walk in, I say, "Hi, where's your washroom?" She's like, "Well, we don't have one."
The fuck? That's so weird for
Yeah.
a gas
It's a gas
station
station too.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Okay, do you have an employee bathroom?" She's like, "Yeah, but only employees are allowed to use it." I was like, "Listen, I'm buying something. Can she use your washroom?" She's like, "Okay, come into the back."
oh my
That's so-
god.
So right
man.
there, so I had to buy a drink and a chocolate bar just so that she can go to the washroom.
Yeah.
Right.
There's this movie Big Daddy with Adam Sandler, and at one point in the movie he goes up to a restaurant and asks the manager there, whatever, if his kid could use the washroom.
That's
And
so funny.
yeah, he denies him, and the last words he said, are not my. But he's like, "Come on, he's just a kid," and he's like, "Not my problem." That's what the manager says. So they go around the corner, they piss on like the side door of this restaurant in the broad daylight New York
Yeah.
City streets, and then when they finish taking a piss, he walks by, waves to the manager, and goes, "Your problem now, pal," and kept going. But the guy had no clue that he had taken a piss on the door. It was just funny.
Man, I was in Buffalo one time this summer, and I went to a gas station to buy a pack of cigarettes. It was a 7-Eleven.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a pack of cigarettes, and I asked the guy to use the washroom, and he looked at me with his Sorry, man, we don't have a washroom.
Nah.
I'm like, but like I'm buying smokes. Like, can I just use your bathroom, like your employee bathroom? He's like, no, man, we don't have that policy. I'm like, okay, fuck it. I went around the corner. I pissed in the back.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Honest to God, man. I feel like sometimes I've never really had that problem. I've definitely had to go into somewhere. One time in particular, Sinopolis, when we were kids, and I take a really bad shit. And when I I was kind of like doing like that butt clench and running forward, and I walked in there and somebody had previously gone in there like a while before, one of our buddies, and had to buy something. So I walked in there with the toonie in my hand, threw it down. I'm like, I want iced tea. Ran to the washroom, took my iced tea when I left. Yeah, I had
On
to
the
go
way
sell
out, there's
that.
a little victory lap.
Yeah,
That $2 wasn't worth the cleanup. For
of
that.
their shit. No, definitely not.
Jesus.
Oh
Speaking
man,
of
what a
piss
dirty dookie it was.
And shit.
Yeah.
R. Kelly pissing
Yeah.
on audiences.
Oh my God.
Christ.
He walked out of jail because a fan paid his $160 overdue child support fee.
$160,000.
$160,000. Sorry, thank you.
No, it's all right.
Man, that fucking break really fucked me up. But
But you mean
yeah.
to tell me he couldn't cover that himself?
Yeah, no.
What the
Apparently he's gone bankrupt a few times, but
Really?
or I don't know about a few times, but I think he's gone bankrupt before. But apparently when a lot of these guys go bankrupt, like it was spoken about on the Rogan podcast
Mhm.
when who
They
wears the
don't
big
actually
clock,
go-
MC Hammer.
yeah.
He said that he went bankrupt, but he was like still balling.
Yeah.
Like he still had money. He still was laughing. It was just like business bankruptcy or
Yeah,
something.
it's
I don't
like-
know.
It's like Martha Stewart broke or MC Hammer broke.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what the saying goes. But
Yeah.
yeah, this guy's actually nutty, man. Like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's
So
sick.
many
I don't
people
like
in the
him.
entertainment industry are like this. Like, why?
Yeah, I don't know,
You know,
man.
Well, there's so many people in the world that are like that.
That is true,
But these
man.
people just have this light on them, this spotlight on them, just because they're famous.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we see it more with celebrities than we do with just normal everyday people.
Yeah.
And even when we do see it with normal everyday people, you're just like, oh, that's gross, and then you move on with your day.
Exactly.
Whereas something like this will create such a big story and such a big wave in all of the media.
Yeah, because so many
that
people look up to her.
Everyone's
going
gonna
to
hear about it for at least a week.
Yeah, they're
So-
constantly under scrutiny.
Yeah. So I think that's why. Like, there are tons of people doing what he does and what he has done,
Yeah,
and they haven't been caught. So I don't know.
definitely.
Yeah, I just think because you're famous, they get scrutinized a little more.
Yeah, like look at Donald Trump
Yeah.
allegedly pissing on people in the hotel room that was bugged by either the Democrats or the Russians.
That's
I don't
the,
remember.
the American president
Yeah.
right there.
And did you guys remember the that whole Justin Bieber story? The guy was pissing in a mop bucket.
No, I didn't hear that
No.
one.
That got so much press like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
3-4 years ago, he was at a restaurant and he pissed in the mop bucket.
Holy shit, man.
And it's like, okay, like that's not that big of a deal. Like it's not right, but it's
Mhm.
not that big of a deal that he pissed in a mop bucket while he was drunk. He could have pissed a lot worse places.
Yeah, and like if there's nowhere else to piss, you're not going to piss on the floor. The mop bucket was actually a
exactly.
conscious decision.
Exactly, and it got so much press, and
Yeah.
like people were talking about it for years.
Mhm.
Even at his roast, people were bringing it up like
Oh,
2-3
shit.
years later.
I didn't know he had a roast.
Yeah,
That's
he
pretty
did have
cool.
a roast.
Yeah, that's
One of the
alright.
better ones.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, one of the better ones.
that's cool.
Yeah, some good comedians. Like I think like Pete Davidson was there.
Mm.
I know Snoop Dogg was there. Kevin Hart was there. Shaq was there. Ludacris.
Holy shit.
Martha Stewart. Yeah,
That's
Martha
pretty funny.
Stewart, man.
yeah. There were quite a few people. It was
Mhm.
actually I think it was one of the better roasts I've seen.
Right. Man, I actually not to do with roasts, and sorry to so abruptly change the topic, but I just remembered something from last week. We were discussing homelessness and our willingness to talk to them all the time. After we had wrapped up, I just thought of a story that I wanted to tell one time about speaking with homeless people, because I felt pretty good about it afterwards, and it was good. It was a good bit of fun. It was outside the Madison, my favorite bar.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why either, man. You know why, dude? Because they always have the piano man there, or someone playing guitar, and
The piano man. Oh, that guy with the fedora.
well, it doesn't like last time I went there, he wasn't there, but they still had someone on piano, and like, man, I've requested songs before, like Beatles songs and shit like that, and like, dude, everyone there knows them. Like, they sing along, and there's no place really like that, I don't think, anymore, you know? And I can stay in that first room, dude. I can happily stay in there by myself for 5 hours drinking while, like, my friends are dancing or whatever in the other, like, on the dance floor upstairs.
Yeah, the first room is the best.
It's the best room, yeah.
There's no need to, like, walk through that sweaty crowd
No,
just
it's
to,
packed.
like, get to that fucking dance floor that feels like it's about to collapse.
Yeah, or go upstairs and, like,
Yeah.
play pool. But, like, when I go to the Matty, I like to get hammered,
Yeah.
so.
No, the
But,
first room is cool, but continue with
yeah.
your story.
Yeah, so there was a homeless man outside of the Madison, and I was waiting in line, and he had a guitar, and he was playing a little bit of music, and I stopped to listen to his music for just a couple of minutes. My friends had already gone in, Joe had already gone in and stuff. Yeah, that's
I
right.
had gone in. At this
And
point.
I gave the guy, I might have given the guy like a toonie or something like that, because I watched him play for a few minutes, and he kept on saying to me that his guitar was out of tune. He was upset. So I was like, oh, like, I have a guitar tuner on my cell phone. So I gave it to him and let him tune his guitar. And before I left, I had asked him to play 8 Days a Week by the Beatles, because I don't know, man. I was pre-drinking and already tipsy, so I just wanted to hear 8 Days a Week, you know? And he said to me that he didn't know the song, or know how to play the song, rather. He knew the song but didn't know how to play it. So I just asked him if I could just basically take his guitar for a minute and I could show him how to play it, because obviously he knew how to play it in general, right? And I know the basic chord outline. There's only like 3 or 4 chords. So I just showed him what to do for 8 days a week, and then handed his guitar back, and that was it, man. I just thought it was fun. It was so cool because, like, I was talking with this guy, and then he was in need, and then he got his tuner, and then learned the chords 8 days a week, and he played like a small little snippet of it for me, and then said that he doesn't want to play the rest. But the guy was fucking, like, he was on some hard weird drugs.
It
like,
sounds like he was.
Yeah, he was very out of it.
Do you wonder how he got there? Ever, like, whenever, like, these interactions happen, like, do you ever, like, finish it and then think about how they got there?
Like
what
physically got
caused
there,
them?
or ended up there.
Yeah, how
like,
they ended up
their
in that
position.
situation. Like, obviously this guy, his reason seems to be drugs, but
Yeah.
like, why?
No, I definitely wonder that, but I feel like I wonder that more for the young homeless people that I see, because
That's
there's
a big problem here.
yeah, and they're so similar in age. So I think, like, like, to us now,
Yeah.
I think, like, holy shit, man, like, you're maybe like 3 years older than me, say, and I'd like to say right now, at least I hope, it would be impossible for me to end up in a situation like that in just 3 years. I mean, nothing's impossible, but it's not something that I predict, or realistically there wouldn't be, like, good reason for that. Like, I have a loving family, friends, like, I'd likely be taken care of, you know what I mean?
Work ethic.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course, like, aside from my own personal ability, at least I think, to avoid that, but anything can happen. But I just wonder, yeah, definitely for the younger homeless people, how they ended up there. And I kind of think, like, I'd like to know, man, because it's so interesting. And there are so many people that, I mean, a lot of the people that we speak with are seemingly on drugs, but so many who aren't. Like, maybe they smoke a lot of pot or drink or something, but they don't seem to be on really hard drugs that are kicking them out. A lot of them seem like almost normal, you know? Like, so I don't know, man.
A lot of people are just dealt a shitty hand.
Yeah.
There's not much they can do about that, and it's tough too, because education is not cheap. So,
Yeah,
and a lot of these jobs now require, whether it's education or experience,
Combination of both.
Yeah, or a combination of both, and a lot of them, they don't have either. So to them, it's not worth it to go and bust their ass, work 12 hours a day every single day for $14 an hour, when they can just stand on the side of the road and whack on some drums or play the guitar or something like that. That is their passion. That's what they wanted to do, but they can't afford to do it.
Yeah, you know, man, I think that a lot of the people who, like, the homeless people who play instruments, not the case of the guy who I met outside the Madison, but a lot of them who, like, you know, have a guitar case and they walk around, or especially the drums, I feel like they're not homeless, but they're kind of they're almost like wanderers, you know?
Yeah.
Like, maybe they have a place to stay, but, like, I'm not saying it's a luxurious life that they're living. Like, I'm sure that they're still poor people, but
Yeah,
I
I
feel like
think
for a lot of them, they're not exactly homeless.
Yeah, I think there's, like, a good portion of, like the people you see on the street just playing music, like, they're just street performers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, once I saw, like, this troupe almost like sax players.
Oh, I've seen those guys before.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
kind of near Yonge and Dundas, but more north.
I've seen them near City Hall a few times.
Yeah, like I see that all the time. So like, there's definitely like a big percentage of people who are just playing on the street,
Yeah.
not because they're homeless, but just because.
Yeah, sometimes
That's,
it's
like,
like
what they have,
self-advertisement
like, yeah,
too, right? Like
that's
they
what they
go
have to
around
do.
and then people will ask, like, "Oh, who are you guys?" They'll hand a business
Yeah.
card, or they'll let them know their YouTube channel or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Man, when I went to to New York this summer, I saw the funniest thing. It was this crowd of people, and they had these really loud speakers that they were carrying, and a cameraman like walking in front of them, and the camera was walking backwards, and it looked like this like such a lame like punk metal band, and all they were it was like some protest thing 'cause they had a bunch of people walking behind them too, and they were just singing this song, and they were just going, "Fuck you, Donald Trump! Fuck you!" And that was all the lyrics, man. And he was
Seriously?
using like a screamo voice,
Yeah.
and then some chick started to sing with the lead male singer, and dude, her voice was just like, it was just atrocious. It just didn't sound good. Like she wasn't a good singer, but she was there still singing, and it was so funny, man. It looked like this big protest. And then I looked it up online one day, and I actually found it on some obscure website. It took me a really long time to find it,
Mhm.
and it was kind of like a SoundCloud, but
Mhm.
one that I'd never heard of. And they had like imagine like a New York license plate, and it said "Fuck you, D Trump" or something. Like it was just really stupid.
yeah, I'll
man.
go on Google, type in "fuck you, Donald Trump," see how much stuff pops up.
Yeah, see, and that was the
Right.
issue.
So-
Exactly. Fuck yeah,
Man.
and like it was weird.
Like you see homeless people here,
Mm-hmm.
and they're obviously struggling.
Mm-hmm.
But could you imagine what the people in Venezuela are feeling like?
Oh man.
Like
They're in the middle
I'm
of
seeing a 5-day blackout.
Yeah.
I'm seeing video right now of people drinking from sewage pipes,
Jesus.
drinking water from sewage
Holy
pipes,
shit, man.
because it's like that hard to find water and food. They
Yeah.
have to resort to the sewage pipes.
That's insane.
Like this situation is so bad.
It's getting worse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's getting worse. Wouldn't like you would expect someone to step in?
Yeah, like right, like
who?
like in the past, like the U.S. has intervened in
Yeah,
all
like-
of South America.
Like
They've
Red
done
Crosses and stuff like that too.
Not
you know what I
even
mean?
just
sure they
Red
have
Cross,
help.
but
I'm
like
sure Red Cross is there.
military intervention, like to overthrow these dictatorships that are in place. Like they've
Mhm.
done it to the Dominican.
Mm-hmm.
They've my grandmother lived through that.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They've done it Guatemala, Honduras. They've been in Venezuela before, actually.
Mm-hmm. No, they have been. Yeah.
Colombia.
Yeah. Even
All
in
over South
countries in the
America.
Middle East and Africa.
Yeah.
But the thing about the situation right now, although it's been going on for a few years, I think maybe even when Obama was the president, they're taking on a much more nationalistic approach under
Yeah,
Trump. So they're
they're
not really fucking or intervening
They're
with
no
other
longer
countries.
interested in imperialism. Is that it?
Well, it's not. I mean, I think that they would say, or a lot of people would say, that they were never imperialists. Like even
Mhm.
when they went into,
Vietnam and shit.
like, well, yeah, Vietnam's a good example, and then like Iraq and stuff like that. I think that it wasn't really imperialism; it was just trying to spread democracy, which of course can arguably be imperialism, but they didn't like install the American government into.
Yeah. Well,
Which I
that's
guess can
that's
also
what
be argued,
that's what
but-
differentiates it between colonialism. Is if you install, like
Your own
another
nation.
government, like a branch of your own government,
I
then
see.
it turns it into a colony. But at that point, like they were just trying to spread the democracy through military intervention.
So you're saying that's the difference between imperialism and colonialism?
colonialism.
Oh, okay. So then fine. Let's call it imperialism. I mean, I don't think I'd say that it is imperialism, but like I understand how you've titled that. So yeah, no, they're definitely not for
Yeah.
that. Like especially right now, they're worried about America first, and I think that that's kind of a fear for. No, not a fear. I think that may inhibit them or prohibit. Inhibitor means like promote. So prohibit them from any longer staying the
World
leading
power.
power. Yeah,
Mhm.
like they'll always be a world power, but being like the number one power
Yeah.
because
and,
they're backing away from stuff like
yeah,
that.
and China's actually dabbling in that now too.
Well, there you
Well,
go.
In
yeah.
Africa, they're
Big, oh, dude,
in
big time.
Africa, they're heavily involved in.
They over the past I want to say 6 years, China has created 2 world banks, basically.
Wow.
One of them being the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, the AIIB, and the I can't remember the name of it right now, but if and when I do, I'll mention it. But both of them, both rooted out of China, and New Development Bank, I think that might be the name of it. Let me see right now. But the NDB, New Development Bank, yeah, that's right. Formerly referred to as the BRICS Development Bank. BRICS nations are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So basically, the NDB and the AIIB, both created within the past 6 years. And man, there have only been 2 world banks basically created, or 0 world banks up until over the past 20 years, kind of thing. And they came out with basically banged out 2, and a lot of what they're doing is exactly that, investing in Africa to
in their infrastructure.
Infrastructure, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that there are many connecting routes in Africa into China, which can be helped with transport and logistics. But it's interesting that we're even talking about they even mentioned Africa, because right now, one of the was that audible?
No.
Cool. One of the not I don't want to say solutions as in it's a dead set answer to the migration crisis right now in Europe, but one of the ideas has been to invest for the EU to invest in development in Africa, so that a lot of the migrants can simply move there, and it would suit a lot of their wants and needs, because it's closer to their home nation, right? A lot of African countries are closer to, Syria is a common place where migrants or refugees are running from, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran even. So that's actually one of the things that they had mentioned is investing in Africa, so that migrants can repatriate themselves into African nations.
And that sounds like a good idea, because could you imagine being in a place where you are an outsider, culturally? Imagine trying to force willfully ignore your own cultural practices, so that you can basically fit into that machine.
Yeah, and not only willfully ignore, but
be
basically
really
be scrutinized for practicing. And that's definitely the issue with a lot of the monoethnic homogenous countries, usually in the north of Europe, and specifically the EU, because they obviously receive the largest volume of people. But is that integration for a lot of these people is extremely difficult, and a lot of them are leaving. Well, not a lot of them, but a few are going leaving European countries and maybe going back home, especially now that things have slowly, they're better now than they were 3 years ago, we can say, right, when it kind of started in a lot of those countries. So a lot of people are doing that because it's just too hard to integrate, especially for countries I'll say Finland, because I've been doing research into that recently.
Yeah, that's a big problem in Scandinavia, isn't it?
Yeah, because of a lot of it, because it has to do with language, right? It's language and homogeneity. Is that the word?
Homogeneity? Who knows?
Yeah, homogeneity. Yeah, exactly. Homogeneity. Wow, excuse the kerfuffle there. But yeah, that's definitely an issue. It has to do with language. Also, a lot of people are saying that it has to do with the cold.
Oh, man, definitely.
Yeah, because they're not used to... A lot of the migrants come from obviously really warm Mediterranean countries, and they're not used to the cold up north.
Yeah, I could say that I could speak for my dad for that.
Yeah.
Because he had a really tough time coming here and
dealing
with
and
the winter.
dealing with that?
Yeah, man.
Well, sure, it's a drastic change.
Yeah.
Canada is the States is one thing, because the further south you go, the hotter it's getting.
Yeah.
Right? But with Canada, you can go as far south in Canada as possible. Still getting
Sarnia.
Still getting harsh
Point Pelee
winters.
National Park.
Oh,
Still getting very harsh winters.
Yeah.
So-
yeah. That's right. Even that's right. The farthest southern point of Canada. Yeah, that's what's interesting about the U.S. is that they cover so much.
Their biomes are crazy.
It's
so
wild.
diverse.
Dude, they have deserts and they have fucking mountains,
And
freezing
lush
cold
green
mountains, forests. Yeah, they have really crazy, a really wild range of biomes. They borderline have rainforests as far south as you can get. Not quite, but I mean, close to it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's really interesting. The U.S. is a really interesting case because they cover so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But to to go back to Venezuela for a second, one of the reasons that the U.S. isn't like intervening is because they already they're not intervening through the military, is because they've dropped some sanctions on their oil industry to try and starve the government of their resources.
Wait, what do you mean? Explain that.
Like, rather than going in with the army and like overthrowing their government and just like basically getting rid of Maduro,
Mm-hmm.
they put in place sanctions on their oil industry
Got it.
so that they don't have revenue to basically support their government.
Yeah, that's definitely a really like neoliberal form of war, almost,
Yeah.
right? Because
It's
they're
like Cold War kind of, right?
Yeah,
Would you say that we're in a new Cold War?
like with Russia. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
The U.S. with Russia?
Not even just Russia, just like, I don't know, man.
No, I think that wars today are fought. I don't think they're fought exclusively with trade barriers and tariff and such.
Mm-hmm.
But that's definitely we're definitely they're yeah, we're definitely at war, the U.S. specifically, with a lot of countries in a neoliberal sense, where there's, like I said, trade barriers, tariffs, and such being put into place.
Yeah. So like a proxy war?
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, exactly. And especially with China, that's ongoing with between the U.S. and China. A few maybe last year, well, definitely last year is in 2018, but possibly 2017 is what I mean. There were remember Trump was trying to put tariffs on Canada for trade of lumber and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like I'm really not too well read on it,
Syrup.
but maybe yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was if it was then.
No, a
it'd
lot
make
of the
sense, but-
syrup that we have here actually comes from the States.
Right, which is weird because we basically sell
Mhm.
all of ours to them.
Yeah.
Or a lot of ours to them. So it's so weird, man, because why do that? That's the same with oil. We have oil wells
Yeah,
in
and
supply.
they sell it back to us at
Yeah.
exorbitant prices.
Exactly, which makes no sense, especially considering the price of gas is already stupid high. I mean, I'm sure that we're getting we'd have to be getting a deal. You'd think you'd have to think that if we're selling it to them, we're still profiting even after we buy it back, right? Maybe it has to do with refineries. Maybe
yeah,
they
we
have
like the crude oil. And
right.
they have all the refineries.
Right. Yeah, I didn't really think about
I think that the government shut down a lot of our refineries, and that's why this is happening.
Yeah, I mean,
let me
if
find that out.
if they did, I'd say that's likely what the issue was in Alberta a few years back when a lot of people were losing their jobs.
Wow, oil refineries in Canada. Is my computer listening to me?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It most definitely is, man. I was talking, dude. I was on I was playing League the other night, and I hopped into someone's Discord, like a random player's Discord. They were Americans, and we started talking about government and stuff like that. Started talking about the Canadian military. The very next day, I was on Snapchat looking through like those stories that, like, oddly satisfying would post or something
Mhm.
like that,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And I got an advertisement for recruitment of the Canadian military. It was fucking insane, man. And it was just because I was talking about the Canadian military just the night before
Yeah, that's
with some random guys online.
Yeah,
That
we
happens to me all the
we
time,
do
too.
have oil refineries here. There's one where the Burlington Skyway is.
Mm-hmm.
There's one there, but we import so much oil because
Is that
we just
the-
have such a high demand
Right.
in like places like especially Eastern Canada
Mhm.
where there aren't.
Is the Burlington
any.
Skyway the bridge going towards Hamilton and Niagara?
Yeah.
Oh, so is
Yeah.
that what that is off to the right
Mhm.
with the smoke coming out and
Yeah.
stuff? I always thought that was a steel plant for some reason when I was growing up.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's cool. I always like seeing that. But lately it's been freaking me out more and more because there's like just constant flame and pollutants going into the air, right? So it's really weird. But yeah, I'm assuming it has to do with refineries. It has to. We probably just don't have enough refineries to keep up with the oil supply or something, and that's why there is that big pipeline that was being discussed when Trudeau was first elected and at the
Yeah.
end of Obama administration.
What happened with that?
Honestly, man, I couldn't tell you.
Mm.
Which we should all know probably, you know. But yeah, I'm not too sure what happened with that. I think it was still under construction, but I don't know. I feel like maybe it was vetoed or something. But there were like a lot of leaks and stuff in it, from what I understand. But it very well could be operational or soon to be. I couldn't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to go back on Trudeau, are there any updates on this scandal with SNC Lavalin?
Yeah, there was I saw one at the beginning of this week, but ever since then I haven't seen too much. I mean, I'm sure it's still ongoing and people talking about it, obviously, but at the beginning of the week or at the end of last week, Liberal MPs blocked an effort to have Joan Wilson-Raybould, so the the old Attorney General, the one who resigned. They blocked an effort for her to immediately testify in front of a parliamentary committee.
That's not right, man.
Yeah, so Liberal MPs obviously voted against her to be able to have that, or basically testify once again. And I think that the idea there is that eventually,
she can't say much now because anything she says is going to be held against her, whether it's not exploiting, whether it's just releasing information that she knows. Like, I'm sure the lawyers on the other side will have something to say about that, about how she's saying stuff that's, first of all, it's not on record.
Yeah.
And that she can't be just walking around saying things. So
I think the idea is that she just wants to testify and make sure that her story is heard. And the idea behind the Liberal MPs vetoing it seems as well. Obviously, for one, it's an attempt to protect the Liberal Party, right? And for two, possibly even an attempt to shorten the news cycle. Because if she had come out with another, if she were to come out and testify again, especially in front of a parliamentary committee, it would just continue to pop up on the news and just basically prolong this cycle, which is killing Trudeau right now. So eventually she'll definitely appear in front of the parliamentary committee, though.
It's only a matter of time, and it needs to happen because that's like a deliberate suppression of someone's voice.
Absolutely.
Well, it could be a deciding factor in him getting reelected too.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, dude, for me personally, like, this is a big negative point in voting for him.
Yeah,
150%.
I'm going to consider what's his name, Andrew Scheer's platform more seriously, and more important than ever now, especially with this suppression of this woman's voice. We need to take to the polls.
Yeah.
Not just because of, like, in the last election, obviously, as we pointed out before, there was like record numbers of people voting.
Oh, there will be a decrease on this one for sure.
I believe so too.
And
there's not much of an incentive for the youth to go out and vote. As there was for the past.
But there is more of an
election.
incentive for the older people to vote. Which
Yes,
the thing is that they were always the majority of voters.
They were always
anyway.
the majority, and the reason why the numbers went up so much is because the youth were voting.
That's right. They participated.
So
But,
now more than ever, everybody, to all the people listening, pay attention to what's going on in the news and hit the polls because you have an obligation as a citizen.
Yeah, we all have an obligation.
Do your part.
Plus, man, it's something that's given to you for free.
Exactly. It's your
like,
right.
It's your right. Exactly. It's your right to vote.
How long ago was it that women couldn't vote?
1914 was the earliest time, but it was only white women. And then I think I believe this is Canada. And then I think 1967, I want to say, all women were allowed to vote.
Well, we're living in
all
a
women,
time.
all races as well. And that include like natives and stuff. Because up until that point, there was still what do you call them? The schools, residential schools. And to be honest, I think the last residential school closed in the 90s, but like early 90s. But I mean, aside from that, that was definitely the point in time. It's very recent history, man. Very, very too recent. Yeah, too recent for it to be real. Almost, you know. And you think that it's impossible. You think that how can you even think of a time where women weren't allowed to vote or certain people of color? It seems so far away, but our grandparents were living in that time. You know,
it's crazy to think. Honestly, it's really crazy to think that it wasn't that long ago. But again, everybody has a responsibility. We're all given the right to vote, so why not make your voice heard by hitting the polls?
You know what, man? Especially because a lot of people complain about
the
government and like the democracy. Oh, you know, especially these fucking people who think that that communism is the right path to take. Well, you know what, man? Then if that's how you feel, go out and fucking vote for somebody who you believe will take us in that direction. I don't support you, but I mean, if you want to make the change, you may think that it doesn't do anything, which, hell, maybe it doesn't. But, I mean, if you and your fucking commie pals want to team up, then make it happen.
I don't understand the idea that people have that voting is useless. Like, what's the point in voting? Like, I'm not gonna vote because
Mhm.
it's not gonna make a difference at the end of the day.
Yeah, those are the first people to complain.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
just
the thing.
fucking do it, man. Go do it and vaccinate your kids while you're at it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
again, like, do your research too.
Mhm.
Don't just vote.
Yeah,
to
don't
vote,
vote blindly.
right? Like a
Yeah.
lot of people, like a lot of people argue Trudeau was the right selection for this this past election,
The past, yeah.
regardless
Mhm.
of the youth not knowing a lot of his agenda.
Yep.
Other than he was going to legalize pot, but a lot of people need to start doing their research before they hit the polls, just to try and see who do they back more, who
Mhm.
identifies them more.
Yeah, no, that's definitely it. Absolutely, you have to be aware of that because it's important that you then go and
Mhm.
cast that vote. Like if I were to go back right now, hypothetically, if we were all 18 again, then 18 and 19 for both you guys at the time of the vote. But I mean, I would have voted Trudeau again then, but that's because it was a different time. You
Mhm.
know, 4 years have passed now, and
Yeah,
there are a
for
lot
your-
of different changes. I mean, on the personal level and on the level of the country and where we're at. So it's definitely time to reevaluate and make sure that you're still in line
Mhm.
with whatever vote that you plan on voting for.
If it's okay with you guys,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to shift this conversation
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
towards something on a lighter note because, as we've pointed out, we our flow is very off today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
we've
we had a long
suffered
day.
yeah, we had a long day, and it's not our fault, but we pick back up and we get on it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
that
I mean,
that break we had really fucked us.
Yeah, it definitely
Really
hurt
fucked
us.
Yeah.
It's the first time we've ever done it, and I think it's safe to say we're
Yeah.
probably never gonna do that again.
No.
yeah, no. It definitely ruined our flow. Like I literally took a small cat nap in the middle of our
Yeah.
break. As that just just to show you guys that
Yeah, like my memory was
were-
gone
Mm.
for a minute.
Well, to
Yeah.
be
It
fair,
was
we've
gone.
been in this basement between setting up the mics and stuff like that, and all the new equipment.
Since 1 o'clock.
It's
it is
been
now
9
10.
hours.
Yeah.
So,
And I said
um,
yesterday we'd be working
we're
a
gonna put a
fucking double
double
shift
shift,
today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's some time and a half.
Well, we did it.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't give a fuck. Like
No.
we sacrificed this one episode to improve the rest of them down the line.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well,
the
you know
overall
what?
quality.
The episode's not over.
No,
Yeah.
man, we
So-
got time to
No.
redeem ourselves.
Don't click off just yet if you're still here. We're gonna shift the conversation over to some video
Yeah,
game stuff.
We'll
some
just talk
video game
about
related
games
stuff.
because it's easy for us to talk about,
Yeah.
and it's easy
Yeah.
for us to have good banter.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
all
back
have a
and
pretty
forth, so
we all have a pretty like decent passion for
Yeah.
video games. So
Right.
it's you guys will hear the enthusiasm back once again. So what did you want to discuss? Just what
Halo Master Chief Collection is now coming to PC. I have a few things to say about this
Mm-hmm.
because, for one, I think it's too fucking late. I think they missed the window
I
because
150% agree with you.
the Master Chief Collection came out like what 6 years ago now.
No, dude, only 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
No way.
The Master Chief Collection includes all
Dude.
games, including Halo 4.
Yes, I know, and I had that game before I moved.
Halo 4.
No, the Master Chief Collection came out before I moved.
You
I
moved
moved
2
2
years
years
ago.
ago. Almost 3 years ago now.
Uh huh. Yeah, no, I don't think it was 6 years though, man. It's pretty.
It's been a while.
It hasn't been that long. 2014, so 5
5
years ago.
years.
There you
Fucking
go.
hell, man.
Yeah. It's way too
Whoa.
late, dude. And when that game came out, this is the second reason, it was fucking riddled with problems, technical problems.
Right.
And so that's going to leave a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, especially mine. And yeah, that's what I have to say.
Mhm.
I love Halo. Don't get me wrong, I love Halo.
Mhm.
I even loved Halo 4, which was arguably one of the worst games in the series.
Mm-hmm.
But to play it now, I think now we're in a different mindset when it comes to video games. And
Yeah, no, it
to
doesn't
go
fit
and
the algorithm
revisit,
at all.
Yeah, to go and revisit Halo, I think would be, it just wouldn't be as fun.
Well, you know
No
what, man?
matter how appealing as it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the issue with releasing the Master Chief Collection right now is that the one game I would play Halo 2 maybe, like rerun the story, but then I would play Halo 3 for the multiplayer. The story was still amazing. Arguably the best between 2 and 3, I think, is basically the general consensus. But the issue with this is that I think of the nostalgia of the Halo 3 multiplayer and the fact, like, you know, it was one of the best arena shooters of all time.
Yeah.
But there right now you can actually get, I believe it's Halo 2 or 3. You can basically get the multiplayer only on PC. That's already available.
Really?
And it's I want to say that it's free too. And
so kind of like the San Andreas multiplayer deal?
Well, no, that's different because SAMP is roleplay, right?
But like it's still the multiplayer from the game, and that's made free, right?
It never existed, San Andreas multiplayer.
Oh.
So they
So
actually
you have
just
to have the base
completely-
game on
I don't think
Steam
so.
or whatever?
No, I don't think you do.
Damn.
But multiplayer never existed in SAMP except for on the same console.
Mm-hmm.
So or on San Andreas, sorry. So I'm only pointing it out because it's different in the sense that it's something that was just created,
Yeah.
you know. So I think that what would be the most appealing for me in this Master Chief Collection is the fact that I could play Halo 3 multiplayer again. But then, like I said, I remembered there's free games, or there's the free version of Halo Online on PC currently, and there's also tons of arena shooters that can be played for free. And there's Quake right now that's better,
Yeah.
and Unreal. I can't remember the name of the game right now, but Unreal Tournament. That's it. Which is pretty big for in the area of arena shooters. So, yeah, it's definitely a problem.
Yeah.
Isn't Halo Infinite going to be coming out as well?
What's
the
that?
fuck is that?
Halo Infinite is like, I'm pretty sure they.
Is it like a MOBA?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure
Because they made a
spoke on it.
Halo Wars. That was like a MOBA.
Halo Wars sucked.
Halo Infinite. I've never heard of that.
No, me neither.
Is that the name
sounds-
for the Master Chief Collection? Like the code name?
I'm not sure.
No, I
Yeah.
don't think so. Halo Infinite, Halo Nation fandom.
Halo
It's a
6,
upcoming sequel to Halo 5.
and they're talking about,
Oh.
of course, a battle royale.
They made a Halo 5?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
yeah, they did. I don't know if it was good or not. I never played it, but
Jesus.
yeah, of course, dude. They'd have to add in a battle royale.
But I feel like they're missing the boat. You know what I mean? Like
I
at
know.
this point, like Apex just came out and they're like taking the internet by storm.
Yeah,
And they're taking the gaming community by storm. But how many shifts do you expect I guess it's called the battle royale community now. How many shifts do you expect the battle royale community to make? They've made from Fortnite now,
Yeah,
which was the main battle royale game that kind of really made a name for battle royales.
yeah.
To Apex. And now are people going to transition over to the Halo?
No.
Maybe for a week, but
Especially because it wouldn't be released on PS4.
There's also the issue that
that's true too.
But battle royales, they're gonna die very soon. I
Yeah.
think.
I think so too.
I don't expect them to last up until a year, maybe a year and a half.
I give them 2021 max.
Yeah, because you know what, man? Like, even winning in Apex right now, sure, it's fun. And sometimes when you're having a really good game, or if you happen to get into a really intense final fight, it feels good. And you get like that, oh my God, fuck. Or like that, fuck yeah, you know? Like, you
Yeah.
get some of that. But winning in Apex is not as fun as it was to win in PUBG. Not as fun to win as in Fortnite. But specifically for me, PUBG, because PUBG was, I think, the most intense of the battle royales. It was the hardest of the battle royales, and it was the most strategic and tactical
it
of
was
the
the
battle
most
royales.
satisfying for sure.
Oh, the most satisfying,
Like,
guaranteed.
It's such a shame, man, that
Yeah.
we won't be able to play it the way that we did at that one time.
Man, the game, like, it's still good. It's just not optimized as well as Apex and Fortnite.
Mhm.
So that's what makes it not fun, because it's like it's clunky.
I
the
always
game,
found it so clunky.
but here, you know why it's clunky, man? Because in comparison to Apex is fast paced. It's hard. It's quick. I played a game with Jordan the other day. We won in 11 minutes. PUBG, the fastest win I've ever had. Fastest win I've ever had in PUBG was 31 minutes, or maybe like 30 minutes, but probably no sooner than that. 29 minutes if I was lucky, but I don't even think I ever hit 29 minutes. That's a fucking chunk of time, man. That's the same thing that is a turnoff for League of Legends, I think, for all of us now.
Yeah.
Is the fact that a game is with queue time and all the bullshit, the dodges.
It's about an hour.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. You got to commit an hour.
Yeah.
So imagine what you get to play 2 games of PUBG. Like if you win twice, you just got to play 2 games in an hour. You know, even more, like an hour
Yeah.
and 5-10 minutes.
And how likely is it for that you're gonna actually win?
It's not like it's
Yeah.
happened, but like it's happened
Yeah,
2
of course.
times in a row.
I found
But,
hackers a problem with PUBG.
You know what, man? They had
At one
PUBG
point, it
had
was
waves,
really bad.
had waves of hacking. For a while, they had it. It was really bad. And then it got cleaned up. They fixed it, and then it came back strong. And they fixed it again. And as of, I'd say, a month ago, the hacking situation was taken care of pretty well. But they're gonna come back, and there's always a
Yeah.
few outliers.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
So, but that's the thing but it's just too slow. The map is massive, which I like. I like all of those things way better than I like the small maps of Apex and Fortnite.
Mhm.
But because it's like that slower pace, more strategic game.
Yeah.
But now we're all so used to that, just run and gun, go in quick. You see something,
Throw
you
your
hear,
stupid abilities down.
Throw the abilities.
Fucking ultimates and shit. I don't like that. That's why I like PUBG better. It's
Mhm.
because it's just gunplay.
Mm-hmm.
strict.
It's
Gunplay
gunplay and strategy. That's it. That's what was so compelling for it.
Yeah.
And like the realistic graphics, like I like cartoonish games, like in terms of art style.
Mm-hmm.
But for a shooter, man, I'm not. Except for Overwatch.
Yeah.
Overwatch is a different beast.
It's a completely different game. It's
Yeah.
hardly even a shooter. You
Mhm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like literally Doomfist doesn't, like, as an example, is one of the characters. He doesn't even
exactly.
have guns.
Yeah,
like,
Bridget
you know,
has a fucking mallet or whatever. it is.
Reinhardt, like
Yeah, he's got his hammer.
yeah, that's hardly a shooter. I wonder what they consider it. I'm sure it's considered a first-person shooter just because of the, like, it probably just got lumped in with
Mhm.
with FPS, but it's definitely something different. Overwatch is a fucking great game,
Yeah,
man, and
no.
I'm happy that we're getting back into it again.
Yeah.
That game was it was so well put together, and there was never really these issues where certain characters were way too strong.
Yeah.
At
it was-
least I found
it was
that.
pretty balanced.
And
They
I
fixed
like
that
I
quick.
like the fact that every single character, new and old, they're all free to play.
Yeah,
Man,
You can-
from
They
the
give them
get
to
go,
you.
You can just jump on to anybody, and it doesn't matter.
yeah,
Like, you don't have to pay for DLC. You don't have to pay for these individual. They're called heroes in Overwatch.
in Overwatch, yeah.
I like that. I like that it gives everybody the ability to be versatile, as opposed to playing the same people and hoping maybe you get enough points with grinding the game to get these other characters that you might not even like.
Yeah, and the game's been out for 3 years now. It
Mhm.
still feels fresh.
It's
They're
still
releasing
competitive.
new maps.
It's
They're
still competitive.
releasing new characters. We got Baptiste on the forefront.
Yeah, on the way.
He's coming out. That Paris map, I don't know if it's out yet. Is that out, Paris?
I don't think so.
You know
It's
what, man?
coming out.
I
I'm
think
still
that
playing on
the-
maps I've never played on before.
Junkertown.
Yeah, well, there's
and
only
all
like
that.
4 new maps, really. Like
Yeah.
you've played on all of them now.
Have
You
I?
have. You've said it's actually happened a couple times. You said I never played this, but we've
Oh,
played it together.
Okay.
But no, I still see what you're saying. That just shows it's still fresh. You know.
Mhm.
Honestly, though, I feel like they're having difficulty with making maps. The maps, a lot of the new maps are not very
Mhm.
good.
No, they're not.
You know?
There are a lot of like
Yeah,
weird choke points.
Rialto
Yeah.
is pretty weird.
Which one's that?
The Venice.
Oh
map.
yeah,
I
holy
don't,
hell!
I don't like that map either.
Yeah.
Like
It
that-
looks fucking cool.
It looks really cool, but like there's
yeah.
that one area where there's the bridge,
Uh-huh.
and you have to bring the payload across the bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's like you're literally
And if
so
you fall off
susceptible
in
to
the
a
water-
Lucio, like
Yeah.
a boop.
yeah,
Or
That's
you could
right
just
at the
walk up.
beginning.
Yeah, you could just walk up to you and just send your whole team off the map.
yeah.
So
No, I feel like that's something they've lacked in is their ability to create new maps and
mhm.
create new good maps. All of the original maps are all pretty good, I think. I haven't played on the one yet where Hollywood I've played.
Mhm.
Oh,
Hollywood's
so
a
maybe
little bit older.
that yeah, it was
Yeah,
it was
the
one of the originals.
originals.
But fuck, yeah, no, I think I'm thinking about Hollywood that I haven't played often since I've made a return. But that's a good
Yeah,
map. I really like that one. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it's a good map.
Yeah.
For me, Hanamura, I haven't played on too much.
Okay, so is that the
Okay.
one where the first choke point, if you're attacking up to the left, there's a platform, and then you can run straight through the
Yes,
middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Haven't
like
played
the
on it too
last
much.
the last choke point's like
Yeah. It's
two
that one
two attack
room.
and defend. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really fun map.
Yeah.
That has to be one of
we
the
played
most
it
fun
yesterday,
maps.
remember? And it took us it was a 5-minute game.
Yeah, we
Not even.
Yeah,
blasted through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's easily one of the most fun maps because you can use so many different characters in that map tactically, depending on obviously your team comp. But
Right.
that's easily one of the most fun maps because especially on the second choke point, it's just one big room,
Mhm.
you know, and you're just
Yeah.
trying to best the other team. Like getting that one pick is so crucial in that map, especially on the second control point. It makes it so intense, so much fun. You're guaranteed to have a good time on that map, unless of course you're getting fucked.
Mhm. And there's more than 2 entrances on it too.
There's 3. There's
the
a center.
Yeah, there's the main entrance. There's the one on the outside if you're defending on the right hand side,
Yeah.
and there's the elevated platform
on
that
the
you
left.
can enter through on the left hand side.
Oh, if you're attacking, it's on the right.
If
Yeah,
exactly.
Sorry.
So attacking reverse the roles,
And
which is really cool.
even on the left,
There's bottom.
if you have
there's
a
bottom
Widowmaker,
entrances.
if you have a Widowmaker, you can zip across. Or
Oh,
That too.
the Fiddlemaker on that map is absolutely fucking pain in my ass, man.
Yeah.
Well, even on the first choke, when you have to secure that first area,
Yeah.
there's like that ledge at the top
Yeah,
of
and
the
she just pops
of
up.
like that temple-y
Yeah.
type thing, and she can go right up there.
But Moira is such a hard counter for her because like when she can switch to that like automatic gun, doesn't really do that much damage, and like
Mhm.
Moira just drains, so
Right.
she's just dead. But
Man, I think that an important thing that, especially in low SR ranks, an important thing to do on the attack and defend holding point maps, if you're getting fucked and you can't bust through their choke point, a good strategy, which I like to use a lot, is to, especially like I said, it would only work in low SR. Get a Sombra, chuck your thing through, because there's always like two spots usually. Even if, for example, Hanamura, that small little choke point,
Mhm.
get your Sombra, throw your little beacon through, go invisible, loop all the way around, land on the point so that it starts beeping and they know that somebody's on
And
point.
they all collapse
Dude,
back.
8 out of 10 times, 4 of them will run and try to get you. All of a sudden, you've left an opening now for a 5 against 2 on the front gates.
Yeah.
You just live long enough basically for 4 to reach. You got an easy push through the gates. People are fucking retarded, man. They send their
Mhm.
entire team after one
Yeah.
Sombra or one tracer. You know,
Lower elo,
oh,
a lot of
man,
people don't use
especially the
comms
little
either.
DPS
no
players.
one
So
uses comms.
that's why.
Yeah,
So it's tough for them all to communicate. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna go, and then 6 other people are following you, and it's like,
yeah.
okay, well, there was no other way for us to communicate for you guys not to come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's I think the best strategy at low elo or low SR in Overwatch to get through.
I got something interesting.
Yeah.
Google is about to announce their video game console.
Skeef.
Yeah, like why?
Is it gonna be like
Yeah.
another one like those?
It's probably like
like
a
those
fucking
Steam consoles?
I
or
feel
a
like it's gonna be
Ouya.
like the Steam box,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steam machine,
Yeah.
where basically all the Steam machine is it's a low powered PC basically that you can stream games onto
Yeah.
your TV for or with. But
It's like the Ouya. You remember the Ouya?
I don't remember the Ouya. No.
Exactly.
But yeah, but like the thing is that why would you want to do that? Because if I'm if I'm gonna buy something, if I'm gonna buy a console, or if I'm gonna buy a PC, I want to buy a good PC for one. 2, I don't want to have to stream the games because I'm sure there's all kinds of
streaming
lag
games
issues
is a
with
bunch
that.
of bullshit.
Exactly,
Try out PS Now.
sucks.
It's fucking garbage.
Also, another thing, man, is that why would I voluntarily lower my resolution and refresh rate of my screen? Why would I voluntarily basically submit to the larger screen that has a lower capacity to match FPS and refresh rate? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather play on my monitor than anything. I want to plug my PS4 up to my monitor because
do.
yeah, there you
Yeah.
go, because
Yeah.
it's so much better than a TV.
Yeah.
There's so much less lag.
The rumors are saying that it is a game streaming platform. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
They're
so
going
it's,
with
it's gonna
that
get
model.
a few sales in the beginning, and then that's gonna be that. It's gonna get some
Yeah.
really bad reviews, just like the
Steam
Steam
machine.
the Steam
Yeah.
machine did, and
Such a stupid
That's it.
investment, I think. Like, why, man?
the Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft's market share is just too strong.
Oh, they dominate,
Like-
absolutely.
And they've spent years building their brand. Like there's
Oh,
no
yeah.
way that people are just gonna abandon it.
And man,
into it.
Nintendo is lucky to even be playing ball with them, with
Yeah.
Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah.
Like, they were on their way out, man, with the Wii and Wii U.
yeah, they stepped
Like,
it up with the
oh,
whole Switch and all that, and they got a lot of
absolutely.
new like games coming out, and
Yeah.
even ones that have passed. Well, they're doing titles that really appeal to their audience, like Smash
Yeah,
and all that stuff,
and
right? So,
and they're bringing in third-party titles finally.
Yeah.
yeah,
which was so crucial, man. Like, it's the Nintendo Switch was a Hail Mary, and it's for Nintendo, and it's done well
Mhm.
for them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's keeping them competitive. They're also still restricting the number that are available, so that it seems as though
Wait,
you know,
of
the
like
demand is higher.
yeah,
they're
Yeah.
still restricting how many they ship to stores.
yeah,
Really?
yeah. Even Amazon,
I still
dude.
feel like they're everywhere though.
Because that's probably because they're in stock, just because the sales themselves.
Mhm.
but they're definitely restricted. And even
Yeah.
Amazon, you can't buy a Switch off of Amazon without it being more expensive.
Really?
Yeah, the Switch on Amazon I think is like $40 more expensive than a Switch available
Wow.
in stores. And I think that a portion of that has to do with like, well, just I mean, I have no idea why they would make it more expensive on Amazon. Maybe it just has to do with shipping. Probably it's
Mhm.
probably expensive, and
Mhm.
Nintendo wants to maybe cut costs on shipping, on the fact that they would have to ship it out for free.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's what I heard, is that they're still restricting the number that are available to make that demand still look high.
Yeah, well, they still have, like Juice just said, they still have tons in stores, but you see the volume of people when a bigger title comes out, how the Switches start flying off the shelves.
Yeah,
But
especially
then-
Smash Bros.
Exactly. So, but then when there's a little dry spell, like there kind of is right now, like that new Super Mario game came out, there's not a whole lot of buzz around it, so it's not selling consoles.
Which one?
Exactly. It's new Super Mario Bros. I don't know. It's a
Fuck the new Super Mario Bros.
yeah. It's a.
Mario Maker. Are they coming out with one of those?
I believe they're coming out with one of those.
That's a big one. Bucky really loves it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Mario Maker, he loves it.
I never played it, but I've
It's
seen
cool.
some. Yeah, it
It's
kind
cool.
of reminds me of Little Big Planet. How you can create
Mhm.
maps in Little
yes.
Big Planet.
Yes.
Yeah, Little Big Planet was a fucking killer game.
I love that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, you know
Man.
what? I hope that they release it for free on like the
They did.
PlayStation Plus.
Yeah,
No
they
way.
They
They
already
have.
did. They did it last year.
Oh well, then it'll come back.
They'll do it again.
Yeah, I
That's
thought you
a-
meant like recently. I was like, son of a bitch, I can't believe I
Yeah,
missed
it
that.
was last year. They did it. What's the most recent one? 3?
Yeah, they have
that was
three
the
now.
last one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's a
it's,
pretty popular IP, so
yeah,
they'll
it was-
definitely re-release
Yeah,
it.
they did.
Yeah.
They did that one, and then I picked it up for free when
Yeah.
it was there.
Little Big Planet 2 started off like in the intro sequence.
Mhm.
Oh, like it was so sick. They did like this funky remix of Beethoven's like Fifth
Yes.
Symphony.
Right,
Yes.
right.
I have it on my Spotify library.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, it's so sick. Walter Murphy, Beethoven's Fifth. For
That
you
was,
interested, look it up, people.
Walter Murphy, you said?
Walter Murphy.
Cool. Yeah, that was a cool game, man, because it was like a 3D side scroller,
Mm-hmm.
but it felt like so much more than a standard side scroller.
Because there was like little mini objectives in between there too. You can get little
Yeah.
costumes. You
The
can get like
stickers.
stickers,
Yeah.
all that stuff, right? And like there was always like the objective was always the same. So you're never going into the game blindly, right?
Mhm.
So it was more for like anybody could pick it up. You
Yeah.
don't have to know a certain storyline or follow a certain storyline throughout the game
Yeah.
to kind of keep up with it. Like there was a little mini story where you had to like
Mm-hmm.
do your whole rescue and whatever.
You know
But,
what?
yeah.
It was kind of like Mario as a side scroller is just, it's the same thing. You know, you run through the level and then you jump over shit, you kill shit, and then you have to dodge things. You know, as the further you get, the jumps get harder
Right.
to do well. Little Big Planet was a puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's what
Yeah.
made it fun. It was just a bunch of puzzles, and thrown into that still live action, like that live action side scrolling, which was I think the big appeal. I didn't play number 3, and I barely played number 2.
Yeah, I didn't play the third one.
I beat every single one.
Oh wow,
But,
Yeah.
were they all good?
I loved all of them.
Oh
They're
shit!
just
Yeah.
so creative, you know.
They are.
Like,
That's-
so,
that's the thing.
So different.
And even the customization. You know what, man? The game always the game felt so. Excuse me, sorry. The game just when you were playing it, you almost felt like refreshed. The game just felt
Yeah.
fresh
Mhm.
always.
Like the music too. Was
Yeah.
it was so chill.
Again, back to the
Everything
music
about it.
being such a
Yeah.
deciding factor of games,
It literally is.
especially with the side scroller.
oh yeah,
With a side scroller, that's all you hear, other than your character jumping and like the odd speech bubble.
yeah.
Mhm.
Little Big Planet, yeah, it had like a little bit of story with the speech bubbles. But what was cool about that game also was the fact that there were so many user-made maps,
Mhm.
and you can hop into a lobby with your buddies and like you'd be doing some funny race that was
Yeah.
so shittily, that was so like poorly optimized and just not good. But it was so much fun because like. They were as good as a user-created map could get, you know,
Yeah.
and they were so
Yeah.
much fun to like troll your buddies or like get into some stupid race that you really don't have all that much control over. But
Yeah.
like if you're ahead, you're probably gonna win. But still, it was still so much fun.
I love that like user created content sort of
Yeah.
thing, because like people build maps and stuff like
Mhm.
based on like other games or like movies
Yeah.
or like,
Yeah.
cartoons or like stuff in the larger pop culture area, and it just makes it like it increases the replayability of games.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
does.
And it makes it a lot more interesting, you know.
That's what
Are we like lacking that in this current gaming climate, do you think?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think there's a lack of creativity, definitely, because a
Yeah.
lot of these games are becoming repetitive.
Yeah, they're
whether
just
it's
sticking
rip-offs.
to simple tropes
Mhm.
and
They're too repetitive.
Yeah.
And well, like we spoke about earlier with the whole EA and whatever, how
Mm-hmm.
they could just release one game and then just keep patching it and whatever.
Right.
They don't do that
But-
because they want more money. So these game companies do the same thing,
Uh-huh.
right? Like they just release the same game over and over, and now your series is becoming repetitive.
Copy
but
and paste.
They're still making money.
What's the solution to that, man? Because the fact that battle royales have kind of pushed out the standard first person shooter layout.
Yeah.
What can we ever go back to that?
I think it will
Like-
go back to that.
I think indie developers are the solution, because eventually, like
Yeah.
a lot of people are like really pushing for people to support independent video game publishers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a matter of time before something that an indie publisher puts out just catches on and makes
Mhm.
it big, and then that'll just change the landscape.
You know
It's
what?
only a matter of time.
What I think is happening right now is that gaming is it's reaching a wall.
Yeah, it
in the
is.
sense that so much has already been done, and what I'm personally okay, for example, Arma and DayZ, what they offered for me, I got them when I first got my gaming PC, but what they put on display for me was this whole nother level of gaming where there's like these massive crazy worlds with with these games that are so in depth and like so much content and so many new like objectives and stuff like that. What I think the gaming world needs is a revolution.
Yeah.
It needs a shake up. It needs something, and I don't know what this is. I have no ideas for what it could be, but it
Mhm.
just needs something completely fresh but massive. And I think that that VR is going to bring that to us.
Ooh.
Problem is it's not cost efficient.
It will be.
Yeah, it will.
You
be.
Dude,
think so?
give it 3 years.
It already kind of is.
Yeah.
Like
there are a lot
the-
of console bundles
The
with
Oculus Rift, when that first came out, was crazy expensive,
And it sucked.
and it sucked. And now, like, that's not even the gold standard for VR.
No.
Like, there's the PlayStation one. That's like kind of cheap.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's definitely gonna be something that is like further developed and progressed to the point where it's as accessible as a PS4 is now.
100%. Dude, it's going to be. I can't wait to get a VR. I can wait because I know it's not exactly where it should be,
Mm-hmm.
or where I would like it to be for me to invest the money into it, but it will get there. And man, in 5 years, VR will be cheap-ish, and it'll be 10 times better than it is today,
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely the next level. But now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it's just because I'm bored in general right now of video games like
Mhm.
Apex. Yeah, like we said, it's fun and all, but then like Overwatch is fun and all, but you could only stomach so much,
Mhm. Yeah.
So like, what the fuck is the solution? Like,
I couldn't tell you.
For
There
me,
needs to be a complete something different,
an overhaul.
and it's tough to say what's gonna be different because we've had so much now. We've gone from like side scrollers like Mario and Little Big Planet
Yeah.
to linear games like Minecraft,
Yeah.
which was massive at one point.
I'd like to play
the
Minecraft.
multiplayer craze over like Modern Warfare 2 and all that stuff.
yeah.
Right?
I mean, for me,
Now we're on battle royales.
the multiplayer games, they're just expired. Like I can't do them anymore, man.
Mhm.
That's the
Like
thing.
the single player games is where it's at. God of War, was probably the best game I've ever played.
It
I
was
think.
really good.
Like I know I sound like a broken record when I say that, but like I can't stress it enough because it's just so good.
Yeah.
Like I like playing games and I like going through the stories and I like feeling fresh every time, because if it's a story that's actually crafted well, then it's going to be fresh.
Mhm.
And or even if it's like a remake or something, like I'm just tired of the multiplayer like win or lose thing,
Mhm.
Like I like competition in things, but like shooting games, like you win or you lose, you die or you live, like battle royale, like I'm tired of that, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I definitely agree, and it's so tough to to find that solution, especially because they are still like the leading games, right?
Yeah.
So whether we're tired of them or not, a lot of people aren't.
Yeah, and the
that's what's selling.
developers, exactly, that's what's selling. The developers aren't going to slow down their development schedules just because these games are just selling well, and that's just what it comes down to.
Man, I want a Bad Company 3. And I want them
Ooh,
to take
that
it
was
back
sick.
to, they can fucking put the graphics on overcharge, do whatever they want to do with it, but just bring it back to keeping it simple. Because all these games, especially the first-person shooters like COD and stuff like that, they're just adding too much bullshit into them. And if we just get back, like Bad Company 2, I think was such a perfect first-person shooter, and the multiplayer aspect was so good. Well, it was multiplayer. I mean, they had a story, but you played it
Mhm.
for the multiplayer. And I think that if they kind of just dialed it back a little bit, these games could be fresh and still fun. Like, I played Bad Company 2 up until probably a year ago, maybe a year and a half. More
Mhm.
like a year and a half. I would log on every now and then. Battlefield 3 still has that replayability today, I think. And if they just just kind of take it back a little bit. I'd love to see a Vietnam video game, man. There's never been a
Ooh,
fucking
yeah.
Vietnam video game. Like,
Well, one that like
There
really,
has been.
well, yeah, like could you say Black Ops was? It was a Vietnam era.
No,
but yeah.
I don't call it that because it was like a weird take on Vietnam where it was also futuristic.
There was the
and-
Bad Company 2 DLC.
There was a Bad Company 2 DLC which is very small,
Mhm.
3 maps, and
I
there was
think
also
this one
Rising
game called
Storm
Shell
Vietnam.
Shocked.
I think I've heard of that
Shell
before.
Shocked. I always used to see it at Blockbuster.
But I'm
But-
talking, man, like
Yeah, like a full-fledged Vietnam.
I'm talking
thing.
like either Battlefield just with these massive maps and huge multiplayer games,
Mhm.
Vietnam, or I'm even talking fucking Arma, Vietnam
Mm-hmm.
style. You know, like I don't know, man. We need something fresh, and I feel like Vietnam is not touched on because hasn't been touched on because it wasn't very honorable for the United States. Like they
Yeah.
didn't win the war, so I feel like that's just because it was not a war with very much favor, I
Mhm.
guess, in the public eyes in
Yeah,
the
it was
U.S.
a really
that
touchy
did.
subject.
Yeah, that's the reason they don't bring it out in video games. Whereas World War II was honorable, the U.S. won. World War I, same thing, the U.S. won. Like whatever, you know what I mean? Like the good guys won.
Right.
Whereas Vietnam, it doesn't have that same historical aspect. So I think that maybe that's why they haven't really created or developed a full game based on Vietnam, especially because realistically, like the largest age range of video game players, I believe, is like 22 to 38 or something like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So it's not like little
It's
kids and
definitely young adults.
yeah, and when you get up to like 38 years old, like those kids, you know, their dads fought in Nam, you know,
Yeah.
and they probably heard, like, you know, they were living in a time where either like the youth were against Nam, like all the hippies and stuff, or their parents maybe fought in Nam and were oftentimes upset because they didn't exactly get such good, you know,
Yeah.
critical reception,
Yeah,
I
do
guess,
you think
for
that-
fighting in the war.
That's really interesting. So, like the idea that World War I and II had so much glory attached to them in the American imagination
Yep.
that, like, it's kind of perpetuated in video games and
Movies.
Yeah, and movies for sure. But do you think that, like, if you look at these shooters that we're playing now, a lot of them aren't like World War I and II anymore. Like they're
No.
really futuristic.
Yeah.
So
I'm
is
over
it
it.
because like exactly like everyone's over this whole fucking pissing contest that came out of World War I and II and
Well-
this whole American propaganda?
I'm
There was a
over
while.
the modern shit, the futuristic
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah, I am too.
Like I mean, I think that the World War II stuff is good, but then COD, man, Call of Duty and Battlefield had such beautiful opportunities. They created Battlefield 1, like not to say Battlefield number 1, the original, but Battlefield 1, the game released 2 years ago now,
Mhm.
was a World War I video game. It was not very good. Then they released COD World War II. It got terrible reception. But before they came out, I was saying, I'm like, man, I hope they do this right and they do it well so that it catches on again. Because those games I thought were the best, and the story mode was always pretty good in them, and it was because there was that like glory, you know, attached to it. You kind of like, it was really cool. The stories were really well thought out and stuff,
Mhm.
and it was because you were fighting for, you know, a huge piece of history,
Yeah.
right?
How much time we at?
2 hours, right on the button.
right on the button.
Oh, 208. Sorry.
208.
Yeah.
Should we end it here?
Up
I
to you
think
guys.
I'm down to keep it rolling for a little while because we started to get a little bit of a flow
Yeah, yeah.
back. I think so.
Yeah, of course.
I'm okay for
Yeah.
a little bit. You know what, man? Since we had this brief little pause here, I just want to tell you guys about this really cool thing I saw on Howard Stern earlier this week. The Howard Stern show, he had Peter Frampton on, and excuse me, sorry. So he had Peter Frampton on for those who may not really know. Peter Frampton is a guitarist, musician, who played a lot in the 70s. Like he's played all the way through up the 80s, 90s and stuff, but 70s is when he was first became popular.
Ooh, baby,
Yeah.
I love your way.
He's got that song "Ooh Baby I Love Your Way." He's got a couple of hits that are definitely recognizable if you were to hear them, but you may not know they were Peter Frampton. And I was watching him on Howard Stern, and Howard Stern basically said to Peter Frampton, "So Peter, how do you come up with your lyrics? Like what inspires you, or how are you basically so good with lyrics?" And I mean, this can be argued with so many people. There's so many people who are lyrical geniuses, and I never even thought of Frampton really as a lyricist. I always thought of him more as his wicked guitar work. He kind of brought the talk box, the wah 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 wah, into rock music. But
I love rock music.
when I said that, I was like, fuck. I set myself up there. But Peter Frampton just responded, and he specifically spoke on "Baby I Love Your Way," the one that we just referenced. And the opening line to that song is, "Shadows grow so long before my eyes." And that sounds like nothing, but how Frampton described it, Howard Stern said there was a rumor that he wrote that song in like 20 minutes or something like that. And basically what Peter Frampton said was that he was just sitting in his backyard, and the sun was setting, and he had his guitar next to him, and he just started to play some chords, and he then showed Stern the beginning of "Baby I Love Your Way," like the main chords, and he said, and then he paused for a second. He said, "Which, you know what? Now that I think about it, I think I got a little bit of inspiration from Blackbird, Paul McCartney's song." And then he played Blackbird and showed that they were similar, completely different. It's not that it was a ripoff. He just showed how they were similar. And then he just said to Howard Stern, he's like, "Yeah, I was just sitting there in my backyard, and the sun was setting, and I acknowledged the shadows because the sun was setting down over trees and stuff."
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, born of that, literally born of sitting down and seeing shadows, he came up with "Shadows Grow So Long Before My Eyes," which ultimately bridged into the rest of the song, "Baby I Love Your Way."
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that "Shadows Grow So Long Before My Eyes" is some genius piece of literature or something, but it's just such, he put, you see shadows every day. I see a shadow right now
Yeah.
behind you. And he just put it so poetically, and it really amazed me. I just thought that was
Yeah.
so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, when it comes to inspiration and poetry, like, one of the main sources is nature.
Oh, yeah.
And it always was, it always has been, and it always will be.
Yeah.
And it comes from, I think it's not so much like us having the ability to do that. I think it comes from nature itself, because it's like, it's really like connecting to be in it.
So nature inspires.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really romantic thing.
Oh, 100%. That's
But,
straight out of the
yeah.
out of
Everyone
the
loves
romantic
the
era.
romantics, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of people do. But it was really just interesting. And then it makes me think of other things, like for music and stuff like that. Like I heard once this tale, I guess, because I don't think I've ever found proof of it, but Zeppelin wrote "Stairway" in like an hour or something like that.
I think I've heard that too.
Yeah, and basically
Was it
said
in
that
Bron-Yor in their little cottage?
I'm not sure. It was Led Zeppelin 4, so it's very possible that they wrote it at Bron-Yor. But basically how the old story goes is that they were like in a press conference or something, or like,
Yeah.
I don't know, they were talking with somebody and they're like, give me 20 minutes and we'll come out with the song of the century, and then "Stairway" was written. But I don't know the truth behind that. It's just a cool story that I like to.
Yeah. We'll
that I like to
probably
think
hear
of.
that in their inevitable biopic.
Yeah. Fuck that, man.
Yeah.
That's not what Zeppelin's about.
Man, I saw this really good video
Yeah.
on YouTube. I wish I could remember the name of the person who uploaded it, but it was basically like a critical analysis of biopics and like how formulaic they are. Oh, it was so good.
What do you
And,
mean by formulaic?
like they all
an
follow
outline?
the same like rigid outline, like Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash one.
I like that one.
Yeah. The most recent one was the Freddie Mercury one. They're coming out with the what's his name, Elton John one.
Yeah.
They announced that they're working on a Stardust, which is a David Bowie
Oh, that's
biopic.
pretty cool.
And
There's a Hendrix one. It sucked
yeah,
ass.
there's a Hendrix
With Andre 3000.
one.
Oh,
Was
Hendrix.
it bad? I remember.
Oh, dude, it
hearing
was. I like Andre 3000 in
Yeah.
it, but the script was just brutal. I think that it
Yeah.
was
They all
not
follow
good.
like that.
like the heroes.
Yeah. So it's like the
archetypal.
the band members, by some stroke of fate, meet each other.
Right.
They play together, and they just magically come up with these songs, and then it just
Mhm.
skips to like montages of them touring all over the place. And like he showed like evidence, like video evidence, and it
Yeah.
was like, fuck, like why?
Man.
Why can't they just come up with original ways of telling these stories?
I didn't see this video that you're referring to,
Mm-hmm.
but when I finished watching Bohemian Rhapsody, that was my very first thought. The movie was good, I guess.
A giant
but
music video.
It was a giant music video, and it was like I was talking with my girlfriend. We're talking about the movie itself, and we just recently before that seen A Star Is Born, which is fictional. It's not based on a true story.
And that follows a similar
N-
structure.
like I guess so, but yeah, I guess so. But it's not really so much about how they met. Like that's a
Mhm.
brief part of the story. That was one of the best movies I've ever seen. A Star Is
Really?
Born. Oh, dude, easily one of the best movies I've ever seen. Maybe even like in my top 5 favorite. I don't know if it's exactly my top 5 favorite, but definitely in the top 5 best movies I've ever seen. You know what I
That was
mean?
a really good movie.
Yeah, but Bohemian Rhapsody, my first thought was, especially because I was fresh off of A Star Is Born, was the movie was literally a short clip of the story, and then they would play a hit Queen song. So whether or not you like Queen, they played their best music, so you would jam to it, you know.
Yeah.
And then it would show them playing a hit Queen song, and then another short little hollow story format,
Yeah.
and then another hit Queen song. So you're just driven forward by hit after hit after hit, but the substance is just not there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was a major problem with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mhm.
Good movie, but not really,
Mhm.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Before we end, I want to talk about Captain Marvel. Since we're
Oh.
on the topic
yeah.
of movies. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
You
I
have
re-
seen
I
it.
liked it.
You liked it.
Yeah.
What messages did it convey to you?
What messages?
Yeah.
Like, what do you like? Are you talking about political messages?
Yes.
Anything
Because
that
like
you
I went
grasped
into
from
it trying to ignore, like the controversy surrounding it.
Me as
I
well.
know
I
there
thought-
was controversy, and I'll tell
I
you in a
thought
minute.
it was pretty refreshing because, like, if you look at like all the most recent superhero movies, like they're all just like bland, kind of,
Mhm.
right? But this one was kind of refreshing because here's Captain Marvel, and she's questioning her identity,
Mhm.
like who she is and what her place is in the universe. Because did you see it? Did you guys see it?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
You saw it, and I thought that was pretty compelling and refreshing. So I thought it was pretty enjoyable. Also, Samuel L. Jackson, like they're
They made him look young.
yeah,
eh?
man. Was that CGI
cool.
altered?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I think it was just makeup. Because
Hmm.
think about how old they made him look in Django,
Yeah. True.
right?
Yeah.
And that was definitely just makeup.
Mhm.
But man, you know what? The thing about that movie is, okay, so I just want to say a few things. I don't really follow superhero movies to begin with. I didn't know there was any controversy surrounding the movie up until right now when you mentioned it. There were 7 songs, I think, in the movie, aside from like just scores, you know, just like music put together for the movie. 6 out of the 7 were female lead bands, like Heart.
Uh-huh.
I want to say
No,
Gwen Stefani
no
was in
doubt.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Nirvana was the one standout
Yeah.
song that wasn't female, which isn't an issue at all. I'm not criticizing the music. The music was all good. I like all the
Mhm.
songs that were played. Even if I didn't, that shouldn't matter. I shouldn't be criticizing it. But the messages, man, like I feel like it was more of a commentary than anything. The entire movie, I think, and a political position that they were taking throughout the entire movie. For example, the final fight where there would be like the archetypal, boss battle. She
Yeah.
fights her leader. I don't know, like her original leader. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, her superior,
But-
if you will.
Right, the superior. who you see at the beginning of the movie fighting. They're fighting one another, and he says you have to control your temper. And instead of he says, prove yourself once and for all, and he shoots her away and stands over him and says, I don't have to prove myself to you. You know what I mean? Like, and then another example of that was the fact that her god or whatever, her transcendent being that she sees, was a woman, and then her co-partner in the Navy was a woman, and like these are not typical positions that women take, right? And everything was just this I think this just huge commentary, and it was so shoved down your throat, and it was impossible to ignore. It was like, I'm just here to watch a superhero movie, man. I don't have to I don't have to see all this. And then they brought in, so not only did they bring in like issues of feminism, which again isn't the problem. For me, it was the issue that it was just shoved entirely down your throat. Was then they also brought in like an issue of immigrants and stuff, where they said that when
they just needed a home.
Yeah, exactly. They were portrayed to be the bad guys, and you're like, oh fuck yeah, kill these boys, And then all of a sudden he's like, oh no, well after all, we're the good guys, and we're just trying to find a home. And it was almost like this political commentary where it seems where like there was an obvious right and an obvious left.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I think that it was just all these political undertones weren't even undertones. Like, if there's an opposite of undertone,
it was pretty blatant.
Yeah, it was.
And I could see like the issue with that. And beyond that, there was like issues with the like line delivery and like the script. Like there were problems with the movie, like for sure. But like other than this movie, like there was Wonder Woman, the only other
haven't seen it.
The only
I haven't
other
seen any of the Avengers
superhero movie led by a woman.
Right.
And yeah, man, I don't have a problem with these political overtones, you could say.
Yeah, thank you. That's the opposite of undertone. I didn't even know that was a. Yeah, I mean it's not exactly a problem, man. It was just annoying.
Yeah, I feel like it was like the agenda was being pushed a little too hard. You know what I mean? Like I don't have an issue with the movie and what it stands for whatsoever.
Right.
I just feel like they were conveying a message, but over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they could have done it more subtly, but
they could have.
They didn't even have to do it subtle, even if they only did it once or twice, and it wasn't subtle. It's not an issue.
Done it
to
in
me.
like a more artistic way.
Yeah,
dude. The thing is that the whole entire they could have done it in a more artistic way. Exactly. Yeah. The whole entire thing was literally calibrated. Like for example, at one point in the movie, both Wonder Woman and the black woman in the movie, her like the other Navy chick they were both sitting in there were 4 people in this plane, right? And it was the 2 women sitting in the 2 front seats with the men like kind of chiming in from the back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which isn't a problem, but
the language of the movie shows.
Right. And one of these aliens was literally a space captain. Like why he should be flying this fucking I mean, Wonder Woman was suited because she was living in space all this time. She knew how to pilot these space machines. But just as an example, like
Captain Marvel, you mean, right?
Captain Marvel, that's right. Yeah. Thank you. But like the space alien guy, like he had more business being up front just because he knew what to do as a co-pilot. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing was just really in your face, I think, and it got kind of exhausting.
Yeah, it could have. That's why, like I said, like I tried to go into it without really acknowledging the controversy, but I don't know, man. I think they had a statement and they wanted to say it, and they said it. There's nothing we can do about it, and like it's pretty good for little girls, because like girls, like, you know, they probably get made fun of for liking superheroes, and this is a way for them to be uplifted, to show her as this strong female. And there's one that, like, that whole interaction with Jude Law's character.
Was she the old woman?
No, the dude. The evil dude, the main evil dude.
His name's Jude Law?
Jude Law, yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. He's pretty famous.
Like
you've
I
seen
know
him and
I've
shit,
seen
right?
him.
He-
I've
he
seen him.
played
Absolutely.
Watson in,
I didn't.
in Sherlock
I just didn't know that
Holmes.
was his name.
Yeah.
That's what that makes sense now actually for Hey Jude, because
Yeah.
Hey Jude was written for Julian Lennon, so it's
Yeah.
like Jude, but I always thought of it as a woman's name. But
Mhm.
anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so like there was like a whole interplay between their two characters,
Mm-hmm.
and it really like spoke to like male domination over women, and like the message that sent was like important not only just for women but like people in general, you know, like
Mhm.
that they don't have to be manipulated and like like you know, molded by someone else.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, absolutely.
You
Kind
know,
of
Yeah,
course.
you could be your own person.
Yeah.
Y-
Yeah.
You're only as strong as you think you are.
Yeah.
But you know what, man? Like, take this into consideration for me. Heart of Darkness, Apocalypse Now. Just because we've been talking a little bit about it recently,
Yes.
it's been a common.
Oh, I'm writing a
Pop-up.
paper on it right now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, dude, there are undertones and messages being sent in that movie, right?
Dude.
Very deep.
This is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Is that if you look at Heart of Darkness and Apocalypse Now, the reason why Apocalypse Now is so different from Captain Marvel is because the source material is so different. Like, take this comic book
Okay.
in consideration. Captain Marvel is like one of the least popular comic book characters.
For sure.
She doesn't have a distinct character. She's changed identities like 3 or 4 times now. She's relatively new too,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like there's obviously not that like that fan base around her. So her comic books aren't really what you would call like, you know, they're not up to the standard of, say,
Superman.
yes, or Superman
Spider-Man.
or Batman or Spider-Man, like the creative standard.
Right.
And then they make a movie about it. So let's push that to the side for a second. Now let's go look at Heart of Darkness. This this novel, there's these like the commentary in it against colonialism and racism and stuff like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
while it seems like it's sort of not so like obvious, but if you like, I've read it 3 times now,
Oh wow.
and it really is really obvious.
Oh yeah.
It really is, because like if you look at the page, did you see the page when you opened the book I had upstairs? Like,
With
the
your,
text is long.
Yeah.
There are long paragraphs. There are no like breaks,
Mm-hmm.
and Conrad doesn't give you room to breathe because he overwhelms you with these huge long words, and not that it's a problem, but like there's so much text and there's so much commentary in it, and it's kind of subtle because it kind of gets brushed to the side, but it's also pretty obvious. If you're looking for it, you're gonna find it,
Right. Right.
right?
I wasn't looking for watching Captain Marvel.
Mhm.
I had
And see,
when
that's,
when I showed up, I literally, the movie was starting. I
Yeah.
look at Joe. I'm like, "What movie are we watching again?" I
Yeah.
genuinely didn't even.
Mhm.
that's the difference, because the Heart of Darkness, you can completely ignore it if you're not looking for it,
Right.
but if you want to find it, it's there. Whereas in Captain Marvel, like you're pretty much, it's forced down your throat,
Absolutely.
and I could see why you take issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
And in Apocalypse Now, it's kind of the same sort of thing, but it's a little bit more obvious in Apocalypse Now. Not in the sense of like the commentary on colonialism and racism and such, but it's more obvious for violence and mental illness. And
Yeah, for
and,
sure.
Yeah, mental illness.
Mhm.
And yeah, they're just 2 different ways of going about embedding a piece of film with some sort of political commentary.
Right. Right.
And yeah, like Captain Marvel, it could have been done in a more artful way, but it's not what you would say like high cinema, you know? Like it's a
Yeah.
superhero film meant to make money.
That's true.
And-
Yeah, that's very true.
And like these actors are paid huge amounts of money to be in these films, and if you know, if pushing the political agenda of the day is what's gonna sell movie tickets, then that's what they're gonna
No,
do.
that's the bottom line.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fair point, man. That's definitely something to consider.
Yeah,
But Heart of Darkness, you speak nothing but highly of it.
I don't think it's like an enjoyable read.
Right.
Like I don't think you'll find it
Fun.
fun to read, like
Yeah.
in the same way The Big Sleep is,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Bukowski
Or
is.
any Bukowski. Yeah.
But I just love the idea of it, man. It's so
Mhm.
interesting. It's such a look into the mind. Like for me, the best part about it isn't its commentary on colonialism. It's about insanity
Mhm.
and mental illness.
Right.
And Apocalypse Now is the most nutty movie I've ever seen.
I just want to say
So good.
for listeners, Apocalypse Now was a rendition or what came from. It's a movie that was born from the book
Yeah,
Heart
it's
of
an
Darkness.
adaptation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the word. It's an adaptation
And,
of Heart
it's
of
directed by
Darkness.
Francis Ford Coppola. So if you like The Godfather, he directed that obviously.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Really wicked movie. Also has some similar actors like James Caan is in it, Brando's in it.
Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen is in it. Yeah.
And also
Not that he was
a
in The
young
Godfather,
Lawrence Fishburne. Do you know who that is?
but the black guy.
Lawrence
He
Fishburne.
plays
yeah,
in,
he played in The
um,
Matrix.
He played in.
Oh, yeah.
He was 17.
Was he in Boys in the Hood? Was he the father? Was he Furious?
I
think
don't
that's
know.
his name.
I've never seen Boys in the Hood.
No,
Yeah.
you
I've
can't
never
be,
seen it.
dude. You would
No.
love that movie.
I think we
man.
just lost viewership because of that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, we're 2 hours deep now. I don't think many people are going to be here.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
but,
I'm gonna tune off after that.
Or is it-
You have to watch that movie.
That's with Martin Lawrence, no?
It's a classic, dude.
no,
Never
it's
seen
with
Boys in the
Cuba
Hood.
Gooding Jr. and Ice Cube. Ice Cube wrote
And
it.
Cube?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was his movie.
No, I've
Lawrence
never seen
Fishburne
it.
was in it. He's as
Yeah.
Furious Styles is his name. Dude, it's on Netflix. I think it might not be anymore.
I
Uh-huh.
don't think it is anymore.
Fuck, man, no, that's actually a must watch. It was written by Ice Cube. He
Yeah.
references it in what's the movie about the
About NWA?
yeah,
Straight Outta Compton?
Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
Thank you. He references it in
Mm-hmm.
in that
Yeah, the
in that
boy
movie.
in the song, too. And the boys in the hood is always hard.
Yeah,
Or is that the song? That's not Straight Outta Compton. It's another song.
right.
You hear a lot of
But,
people talk about Ricky.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah, no, I definitely know about
You know
its
of
appeal.
it, but
Yeah.
you
I've just
you have
never
to watch
seen
it.
Yeah.
You have to watch it.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
good, man. 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, only 76% on Metacritic, but 94% on of users liked this film on Google users, 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb. But I mean, Rotten Tomatoes is a pretty good indicator. They're pretty reliable.
But yeah, Apocalypse Now, man. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's host to some of the most iconic lines in cinema history. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. It smells like victory. That's one.
You know what, man? Something
And also
about
Charlie Don't Surf.
Right, Charlie Don't Surf. But yeah, he was pissed off there. You know what? I just want to say, you said that Heart of Darkness is not a fun read. Apocalypse Now wasn't a fun watch.
Yeah.
It was
No.
actually kind of dry.
Oh,
Like, to
dude,
get
a
through.
lot of people, a lot of critics didn't like it.
Yeah.
They still don't like it. The Redux version, its running time is 3 hours and 16 minutes.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they added on 2 or 3 scenes that are half an hour long each, and you could. I watched both the Redux and the normal version, and they don't need to be in the movie at all.
Honestly, though, I think I'd like to watch the Redux now
Yeah,
that you mention it's a
because-
thing, because
Yeah, it adds a lot to not only Kurtz,
Mhm.
because Kurtz's death, I remember you said felt really rushed, and I said it was perfect because I watched the Redux. And
Yes.
it's more in line with the way he dies in the novel.
the
in the
cut
Redux,
version. Oh, in
yeah.
the Redux.
Yeah, and Kilgore, the guy who says I love napalm in the
Yeah,
morning.
James Caan.
Yeah, he's fucking ridiculous in the Redux because he's obsessed with surfing.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that was a really trippy thing
Mhm.
in the movie. But yeah.
Yeah.
I think that we're all right. We got our flow back. I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah,
semi-safe to say.
took a little
Yeah,
bit.
also
but
there
got
wasn't
there.
that much to talk about in the news this week, I feel like. Is that just me? I was looking for
No, it was
things
just
It's
to
a lot of
to
it's a lot of
talk about.
repetitive
I
stuff, like
couldn't.
follow-up stories and stuff like
Yeah,
that. But
Yeah.
nothing really broke
mhm.
into the point where it was like, fuck, we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
You know? So we were flip-flopping
And
between things.
a lot of what we were doing, I think, is the this week in particular was like we were doing a lot of schoolwork and stuff like for Jules and I, which kind of it takes away a little bit, I think, from things that we could have told stories about or things that we could have spoken of because we were kind of holed up a little bit more. But just for the listeners, I think that we're gonna start having like some guests on and stuff like that, which will give us some more things to talk about and kind of open up some new voices to conversation and
more
stuff.
views, more just
Exactly.
more people brings more opinions. So
Yes, that's exactly it.
It's always a plus, I think.
But yeah, I mean, on that note, we just want to say the same as always. Basically, check us out on Instagram at the Unfinished Basement Podcast. YouTube, give us a subscribe. You know that you can hear us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our website, YouTube. And yeah, I mean that's pretty well.
Follow us on all the social medias.
Mhm.
Leave any feedback that you would like to leave.
And anything you want us to talk about
anything you want
as
to
well.
say, or even if you want to be a guest, please feel free to ask us, because maybe we can hook something up. If you're in the area, you can potentially either join us physically here in the Unfinished Basement, or we can do something on Skype. But we'd have to tinker with our audio settings a little bit more. I think we'd all need headphones.
That would definitely be more difficult
that.
for us.
Yeah, we definitely need headphones for the Skype calls. But yeah, so as Lucas said, expect some guests. And yeah, I feel like today it was a long day. We put in a double shift, lots of work, but we got it done. And the setup right now, I have to say, looks beautiful. I'm enjoying
Better
the
than
sound of
ever.
these mics. I've had the headphones on. That clicking noise we heard is non-existent.
Perfect.
Ever since you took out the
dongle.
We sound great. So
Excellent.
yeah, it's only uphill from here.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I love working with you guys. Like I said last
Me as
week,
well.
I love doing this. It's amazing. It's fun.
For sure.
Something to look forward to. And I really we've got like 39 reviews or ratings on iTunes podcasts, and I really like the support that we've gotten from all our viewers, and I just want to thank you all for being here with us in the Unfinished Basement.
Yep, definitely.
That's
Thank you
absolutely
all.
right.
Again, social medias at the Unfinished Basement Podcast. For Instagram, our Twitter's a little bit different.
Twitter, man, I don't know about you guys, but like I don't care for it. I think Instagram is where
Our most
following is.
Our most used platforms really are the Instagram. Our website is always up to date,
Always up to date. Check it out.
and the website for future reference is www.theunfinishedbasementpodcast.squarespace.com.
Yep.
Feel free to check that out. All of the recordings they immediately go onto the website, then from the website onto Apple Podcasts. So if you want to listen to them there, you can listen to them there. If not, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, just as the boys said. But we look forward.
Before you end that off,
Okay.
I need to give a quick shout out because
Please do.
I forgot,
Mm-hmm.
and fuck, I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for this
Just
or get some flack, but we recently got a logo designed for us by my girlfriend. You can follow. She's an actual graphic designer, so if you need graphic designs, you can hit her up on Instagram at sabcorsi, SABCORSI. She's an actual graphic designer. She is just graduating from the most prestigious graphic design school in all of Canada, I guess. But
Sure.
yeah, she gave us our logo, and it's looking pretty dope. I must say so myself.
Yes, thank you very much, Sab. It's very well appreciated.
Yeah, the
And,
boys at the Unfinished Basement.
Yeah,
We really appreciate it. It's really well done. It's clean.
and
For anybody who wants anything like that,
Yeah.
definitely contact her, because as much hard work as she's put in for us, she will put in for you just as well. So by all means, contact. That's Sab Corsi, and
SABCORSI.
there you go. And tell her the Unfinished Basement sent you.
Yeah, get that referral code TUNFB. No,
For 10
not yet.
10 B,
No.
10.
10 B for 10. Yeah.
For 10%
for 10% off.
But again, thank you all again for listening. We hope you enjoyed. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Next week.
But for now, we're going to go get some rest after this
Hmm.
long double shift. Everybody, you have yourselves a good day, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That's been us from the Unfinished Basement. Bye-bye.
Later.
Till next time.